Hello, everyone. How are ya? We're back. It's been a while, but welcome to another episode of GTS. Gikoro Tequila and Shots. Today we've got actually something a little bit different. All right, we're getting together with an amazing set of photographers that also have a podcast. They're based out of Jersey. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves. But if you have not seen their podcast, Focused AF, it's hilarious. It's entertaining. It's educational. It's got all sorts of stuff on it. So I'm going to not waste too much more time and introduce this quad of amazing individuals. And so I'm going to unmute their mics now so that they're ready to go.
Now we can talk.
There we go. How are you guys?
We are good.
We're
How
doing
are you?
Awesome. So let's start off real quick. Let's do introductions. Please tell me. One, I need every single one of you to introduce yourselves. Photographers, where you guys are from, and obviously we want to hear about Focused AF. All right. So ladies first. Let's start off.
Go, babe.
So go, Karis.
Should I lean in like this, or should I just?
You could turn it. You don't have to.
Hi, I'm Karis. I am part of Focus AF podcast, but I am also a wedding photographer in New Jersey. Under my brand, it's called Hey Karis, and we're here to drink tequila.
That's awesome. All right.
Oh my God, we didn't start drinking
We
yet.
haven't even started.
That's your fault. No, she has her mic. She has her mic.
You guys got mics.
Oh, she has her own
You
mic.
got mics.
Oh, go ahead.
No tequila for
Okay,
you.
so we haven't started yet. All right, we haven't even started. We started drinking. We haven't even introduced the tequila we're gonna be drinking today, and we're already knocking glasses over. Not knowing who has it. But here's the thing. Now, the setup that we have, as you can see, my hands right over here. It's a cozy setup. All right. So we're nice and tight, nice and cozy in the room. So we're probably going to be bumping into each other in these things. And of course, as we drink a little bit, we're going to be going. Now, again, this is live. So if you are watching this and you want to comment, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. We will be taking some questions as well as we'll be reading some of your some of the comments. So come on in, join us. If you have some tequila next to you, please pour some and share with us. Now let's go back.
Okay. So I'm Jen. I'm one half of J&R Photography in New Jersey, and my other half is right here.
They can see me. You don't have to know. Just like dragging me into the.
You can introduce yourself.
I'm Ro. I'm the other half of Jen and Ro Photo. New Jersey based. We're originally from New York. I'm also more of the creative mind behind our business, while Jen takes care of all the business stuff.
Yes, correct.
And,
All right.
and
Least and not least.
Least but not least.
Least
for sure.
but not least.
For sure. My name is Ben Lau, and for 10 years, I was one half of a husband and wife wedding photography team, and then now I'm.
Who?
And
Two wives.
did I get two wives? I got one. Now I gotta have two. And my wife and I, we've been shooting weddings for about 15 years now, and we also have an associate team. Wonderful crew. Shout out to Pearl Paper Studio if you guys are watching. Leave a comment in the chat. Smash that subscribe button, right? And we also are the co-hosts on the Focus AF podcast. And my wife, we also we host a photography summit out in Jersey.
Yes, which I definitely want to be. We're going to be talking about that.
Let's go. Let's talk about that
as well. So, again, guys, thank you so much for being here. We had actually been talking about this for a while.
Yep.
You guys were so kind to come all the way down to Texas, to the heat that we're currently in. With delays, I think a 4-hour flight ended up being like a 14 or 13-hour flight, or trip. We had some major storms in the last couple of days. But again, hopefully it's worth it. The tequila and the barbecue earlier today,
It was worth it.
was enough. So,
So far, so
good. Good. So before we get started, one thing that we do on here, with every show, as you guys know, I love tequila. I always have loved tequila, and I want to have and introduce, different types of tequila compared to what's out there. I'm very picky when it comes to the tequilas, so every time I like to have a. No, I think that one's mine. So, sorry. And I have the water because liquid death is something that and please hydrate whenever you're drinking. But going back to it, in every single one of them, one of the things that we do is, tequilas with no additives and stuff like that. A couple of shows back, we actually had Dave Yan, who is the head for A18 Tequila. If you guys don't know who A18 Tequila is, it's actually Kylie Jenner's, which he came in and kind of revamped that brand into making it what it's going to right now, doing things the proper way. But today, we're going to drink one of my favorite tequilas. One, it's because the tequila that we're going to be drinking this time is Mi Genta. Mi Genta is actually one of the most sustainable tequilas that's currently out there right now. Everything from the packaging to the bottles to the way it's made. They use recycled paper, inks, that are biodegradable for their packaging. The bottle itself is made out of recycled glass. It's great. Everything's done. And one of the best things about it, it's actually made by a master tequilera, which is not very common. As you know, tequila is dominated. It's a male-dominated, and there are very few. Mi Genta is one of them. La Gritona it's another one. But we went with Mi Genta this way because there's 5 of us this time, and you guys are going to get away easy, so we got 2 bottles, just in case. Just in case. However... So what we're gonna do is on this, I'm gonna switch it over to you guys. We're gonna open this bottle up, and as you can see, it's a beautiful, beautiful bottle. From top to bottom, it's actually all glass, even the top. They're a little tricky to kind of open at first, and I don't want to spill it all over. Yeah.
Ooh.
So as you see, they take a lot of pride in what they do. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a little bit of just to get started. And I'm going to show you guys how to properly kind of prepare your palate for tequila. All right. Can you guys smell it already?
No.
No? All right. Here, I'm going to have you kind of hold that. And if you want to pass me your glasses, that way, and then we'll start pouring after that. There you go.
Oh, Lord.
Ooh, I smell it, yeah.
There you go. So we're going to start.
Yeah.
And one of the great things about this, honestly, so like I said, I love drinking tequila, but Dave Yan actually, when he used to be with Casanova, he's the one that taught me a lot of how to start this. So one of the things, and one of the reasons why we use this type of glasses is just like with whiskey, with wine, you want to trap a lot of the odor and the smell in here, as well as, when you kind of swirl it around because you want to see what the sugars and everything are. So the first thing that you're going to do is going to kind of lean it into your nose.
It shouldn't smell that bad. Exactly.
So when you get a good tequila, you see it. If one of the things that you see when you smell tequila, when you taste the tequila, the first notes that you smell are vanilla. It's got additives in there. Okay? The reason for it is because vanilla covers a lot of those additives.
Okay.
So that's something that you don't want to do. On this one,
You don't want vanilla.
no, not the first 3 notes. Definitely not. So on this one, you have a very kind of, very citrusy, a lot of flowers on there. And it'll clear it'll clear
That wasn't me.
Yeah, clear your sinuses a little bit.
Fogged up.
There you go. All right. So the next thing that you're gonna do is you're actually gonna take what's called a pinch. So just with your lips, just a little bit. That little bit, you're gonna swirl it around your mouth. Okay. Now.
Maybe I took too little. Couldn't really swirl.
Yeah, just get your gums, all around, and kind of the cheek part of it. There you go. All right.
Karis wants to swallow it.
Yeah, then you swallow. There you go. All right. Once you do that, I need you to inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. All right. Now you're gonna do another one, and basically you're gonna make like a little canoe on the top of your tongue. And you're gonna place it there, and then you're gonna splash it to the roof of your mouth, which is gonna go underneath your tongue. Does that make sense?
It sounds very complicated.
It really not. Just kind of put it on there.
Can you repeat?
Yeah, I lost.
Yeah,
Like
and then
over
just kind of like a little canoe. You're gonna put it and then you just splash it in the top roof of your mouth. It's gonna go under directly. It's gonna go underneath it.
I don't think I did it right.
I did it.
Yeah, you gotta.
There you go. Yeah, it's all on you, man. Okay.
I don't think I did that correctly.
No, you're fine. Now what you can actually do is inhale through your mouth, exhale through your nose.
Just trying to coat the tongue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now actually just take a sip, and you'll actually basically what you're doing, because it's alcohol, guys. So what you're doing when you put in alcohol into your body, it's a poison. Let's be honest of what it is. It intoxicates you, but what you want to prepare your palate, you want to prepare your body to, and people that start shooting it or whatever, that's why they get sick.
That's us. Yes.
Okay, because honestly, they use very cheap tequilas, and yeah, I was like, one, so all the sugars and all that stuff are, and additives. That's what gives you the headache. That's what gives you all of that stuff. With these, you want to sip these, okay, and go through it. So we have an entire bottle here that we're gonna do before we get started. So
Before we get started?
before we get started, because we got the second one for the rest of the show.
Great.
But here we go. So what we're gonna do now actually take a sip, and you'll see that it's not gonna feel as when you first started what you remember.
Are you sure about it?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So it's like strong,
Yeah.
feeling.
All right. So now
Gareth's already drunk.
Now we're actually gonna pour.
She's just, it tastes like vodka to me. Oh, no, tequila. Tastes like tequila to me.
There you go.
Is there lime and salt around here?
No,
I was like,
lime salt.
those are the things that we do not speak of here.
It's frowned upon.
I'd get some triple sec and some lime juice,
Margarita.
I gotta say, this
Then
will
margarita.
make a great margarita.
a bangarita.
That is sinful. They would not allow that.
It's good though. It's very smooth.
Yeah.
Very smooth.
All right. So now that everybody has
What do we have?
has
Okay,
has
a
has
third.
a, has a pour of mi
A third of the
gente.
bottle.
Cheers.
Salud.
Cheers.
Salud.
Salud, guys.
Salud, salud.
There we go, guys. All right. Now, salud. All right. All right,
I
guys.
think I could be able to do this. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not so bad. It's not so bad.
See, once you kind of get through that first part, and then after that, you can actually taste a little, and you can actually taste when you really kind of think about it. You'll start getting different tastes than just the alcohol. That's where you start getting like
It's not
cooked
just your
agave.
taste buds
After
dying.
you're
Yeah.
super drunk.
I would like you actually be able to taste like agave and stuff like that. And if you
Yeah.
guys ever have the opportunity to go to like tequila and chew like some of the cooked agave and smell it when they're cooking it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when you smell that cooked agave. So really, really cool stuff. Again, now, guys, thank you so much for being here. So all of you guys do photography. How long have you guys been in the industry? Let's start over with Ro over here.
So we both have been. We started together, obviously, but I think our first wedding was 2010. We were more like hobbyists during that time, and it kind of fell into our laps. So from 2010 till now, 14 years, right? But we really don't call ourselves like professionals. I say up until the last 7 years, 8 years when Jen went full time, and then I followed about 4 years after she went full time. I was more of like, there was more business related tasks, and that's what she handles. So it made sense for her to go full time first. I worked overnight, a full time job, up until the last 4 years, and it was tough because we were still shooting full time and working full time. But yeah, so about 7 years full time, I would say, and being in photography itself, 14 years. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. How about you guys?
Roughly the same timeline. We did a couple of free shoots in probably like 2009, and then 2010 was when we did our first gig. And yeah, we started shooting for ourselves for a little while, and then the associate team started because my wife got knocked up, and I needed help. And when she finally came back to work, I had all this extra talent and didn't really want to kick them to the curb. So we started a second company just for them at the Pearl Paper Studio. We started that. They've been with us since 2011, but the company didn't start officially till 2013. And a lot of the photographers who started with us are still with us to this day.
No, that's fantastic. That's
Yeah.
great. So that's one of the things I think that a lot of people, don't understand, that of photographers that have a secondary company, where they have second shooters, or they have another brand underneath, from what they have. One thing that I've come across, I never did that. It was myself when I at the time that I was shooting. But one question that they would ask, and you guys can answer this perfectly, like, well, aren't you competing against yourself?
No.
So I was like, so can you explain that a little bit?
It's a completely different market, different client profile. They're looking for completely different things.
Okay.
What we have found is that, at first, when you're close in price point and you're shooting a similar work, yes, there's some referrals that can go back and forth. But as you get deeper and deeper into this career, you start developing your own flavor of photography, right? You could probably speak to that too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You
yeah,
start to
absolutely.
find your own voice,
Correct.
find your own flavor. And the thing is, eventually you'll come to a point where you have two completely different client profiles, and one's not going to match with the other.
But the other one, okay. Yeah, that
So
makes
we attract
total
different.
sense.
Yeah, we attract different profiles. And
Do you
even-
get-
yes.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So we have three brands. So my wife shoots, I shoot, and then we have that associate brand. It's three different, completely different client profiles. We don't refer to one another.
Really? Wow. So you guys took it one step further, where it's like, okay. So in situations, in situations like that, do you have like different vendors that refer you to
Yes.
each different companies?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. That makes perfect sense. What's like some advice that you could give to like somebody who wants to start doing something like that?
Don't
Do-
do it for the money.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was going to say. Don't do it for the wrong reasons. And yes, I get it. We're all in the business of making money. We all have to be
Yeah,
profitable.
of course. I mean,
right?
it's a business.
Yes, at the end of the day, it's still a business. But I think sometimes people get caught up with the dollar signs, and they don't know that there are a lot of headaches that oftentimes come with those dollar signs.
That are not worth the
yeah.
money, quote
Right.
unquote. Yeah.
So, like, if you're in any of these Facebook groups in any of these Facebook groups, you'll always find these people looking for last minute help because their associate called out last minute or their second shooter called out last minute. Because the thing is, they're just setting out jobs to random strangers or whatever.
Okay, yeah. And you guys have a team.
Yes, these are all
Yeah.
inside people. These are all internal people. We don't hire freelancers for lead shooting jobs.
Okay, which is, I mean, that in itself definitely separates you from a lot of some of the other ones. I mean, including some of the low budget, not to call any names, but companies that just randomize, and hire, quote unquote talent.
Yeah.
In those situations where the client doesn't know
Who they're going to get.
Who they're going to
One
get.
time we shot a wedding with a video team who should not be named, right? But it was a big chain, and I was like, there's no way this guy knows what he's doing. He's got his lights and camera set up. I was like, how many weddings have you shot? Oh, this is my third one. I was like, oh my gosh. And you're the lead
Yeah.
shooter, right? So, and it's a big national
Yeah.
chain too. So,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Another
Yeah. Oh,
piece of-
absolutely. Absolutely.
One other piece of
Absolutely.
advice I would say, because we tried it, is to create a completely separate entity and brand. Because we tried it under our name, and we had a client that she was friends with a previous bride, so was kind of expecting the same exact experience. And we did what Ben said not to do. We just like whoever we couldn't shoot for us, and then just
Oh,
go out
with
and
the-
shoot.
yeah.
But they were professional. They were good people.
No,
but we didn't.
We had somebody that was a dedicated.
Yeah, dedicated,
associate
but
shooter.
we didn't train them the way you're supposed to be trained to represent your
Yeah.
brand.
represent us. Yeah.
Because everyone does something different. So when they go out there, if they're not doing what you do as a business, then that can lead to
that was the
situations.
Yeah, that was the number one first thing that we did when we started the associate brand. When we had the conversations with our shooters, like, hey, listen, I'm going to start a separate company just for you guys. Because the thing is, you guys are not us, we are not you. You're going to shoot in a different style, so we can't have people coming in looking for Ben Lau and not getting Ben Lau, right?
Yeah, which is, and that's one of the big things that a lot of people don't understand. For example, with me, it was Iram Trillo. That's what it is. That was the only company, so I was always there. I would never send somebody else under that company name. With what you guys were doing, the client knows. Okay, when you get Ben Lau, okay, so Ben Lau is going to be there. When Kara's, then you're going to be there.
Right.
But when it's your third company, then they know that's
They
the
know.
company that
What we do also is very different from a lot of other associate studios. We don't assign the photographers. The photographers actually, the clients actually go through the portfolios and say, I want that one, I want that one, I that one.
Oh, okay.
Because even though we have 4 or 5 leads on our team, they're different flavors, slightly different flavors. There's a little bit of nuance, sort of like your tequila, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it's all tequila, but it's slight nuances that make one a little bit more, let's say, more
makes
playful
sense, yeah.
or more traditional or more outside of the box, whatever it is, right? They're all wonderful, they're all very talented, but they all have different nuances that make them a little bit unique. So for some people, they can't tell the difference, and if that's the case, then usually they'll just pick whoever, right? But some of them, they're like, oh, this one looks a little bit more playful. This one looks like, the night portraits look really strong here. Like whatever it is, they can tell the difference, and then they'll go that route, But we don't assign the difference.
Okay, yeah. So then the client itself, like the client is still picking, who's gonna shoot their wedding.
Yep, that person shows up on the wedding.
That's fantastic. So in those situations, once they sign, like, do they get to meet the photographer ahead of time?
At the engagement session. But what we're trying to roll out is to have a more personal experience, or have the clients have a more personal experience with an associate brand, because that is very uncommon with larger associate brands and studios. Because oftentimes these photographers, when they signed up to be a wedding photographer for your brand, they just signed up to shoot. They didn't sign up to do all the sales and marketing and all that kind of stuff. And meeting with the clients beforehand is certainly a part of that kind of sales and marketing process. So, but in any case, what we have noticed, the trend, and I think this is a good trend, right, in the industry, is that the clients are looking for more personal touch, and I think the Molinas will agree on that, right? They're looking for more personal touch. They'll pay more for it. But even if it's not a financial thing, right, just the experience of having a more personal touch, that goes a long way, and that's going to get them across the finish line. So that being said, for our associate team, we're slowly rolling out, like, even before the engagement session, we want you to just have on a quick 5-10 minute call with your photographer, and just a quick meet and greet before we get the camera out.
So that still kind of personalizes it even more, that way by the time, which was one of the key things for when I was shooting. There was email, but the majority of either it was in person or phone calls. Zoom wasn't as what it is now. Back in the day, we would Skype. Because a lot of my my clients were international and stuff like that. But even then, I would needed to have kind of a more personal type of touch, with them. So that's great. That's awesome. That's something that's pretty rare. And definitely you're not going to get that with, some of the larger that should not be named that are going to be on that. Cool. And so how about you guys? So right now, currently, do you guys have, or is it you guys? Yeah.
It's just us. It's like we said before, we tried it, and the issue with us was that we are branded as Jen and Roe. Okay. So even though we told them we weren't going to be there, we offered it at a lower price point. But the problem is that one couple had, they were present at a wedding that we did, so they were able to compare the two experiences, which was the issue. The other one went flawless, no issues
with the
whatsoever.
same photography team on it.
Yeah,
too. So it was interesting to see. So we figured, do we do this and then just not deal with anyone that has a relationship with a past client?
Yeah.
But then again, it was just still too much liability, too much stress, worrying about are things going okay at this wedding that we're not at? So we're just
we have stories.
We're just forget it. It's
and
fine.
we definitely, trust me. I mean, we got a ways to, and so those stories. I was like, guys, if you haven't seen any of the other shows, stories will slowly start rolling out.
Can we curse on this thing?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. And again, guys, so right now we have a couple of actually. Andres Molina is on there. He said
he's our producer.
Shout out to our producer.
Yeah, so that's Focus AF's producer. He said he's watching. All right, so he says he's watching.
How's the sound quality, Dirty? How's the sound quality?
Please comment on the quality.
Hello, Jennifer Lude. She said hello. And then Daniel Aguilar, compadre, ¿cómo está?
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
Daniel Aguilar's here.
Yes, Daniel is. And
man.
we're gonna get him here soon. We're actually he and I we're working on something. So we're both like Uber nerds, like Uber nerds.
I can't tell.
So we have some stuff coming up that he and I are gonna do that are gonna
awesome.
be
You guys can
not
go in your
related.
matching helmets and
Oh,
stuff.
Marcos is
That's
there.
right.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm jumping
Yes.
ahead.
So
He's a
and
big
then
Star Wars
Marcos
nerd.
Marcos
Hi,
is on
Marcos.
already, but fantastic to have everyone. So like I was saying, some of these stores are gonna start rolling out as the alcohol kind of keeps pouring out. So yes, there are probably gonna be some words spoken, and
We may or may not regret.
So but again, this stays on the internet and the interwebs forever.
Forever. Yeah.
So
Be careful with what you say.
no, but going back, that's fantastic. I mean, that's one of the great things to have, because you guys are definitely two very different companies on the way you guys are ran, and the way you do things. Do you guys currently have, outside of photography? One thing that I will always kind of ask is, and the reason I wanted to start kind of with GTS was to talk more about the normal stuff as photographers, because it was fantastic when I would see people that I admired or whatever. I'm like, oh my God, and to a point it would kind of bring me down a little bit, because I would see what fantastic stuff they were doing and all that stuff, and I'm like, why can't I do that? And then to realize that they were just hustling just as much as we were, but they were just kind of publishing the good stuff, And with this, that's one of the things that I wanted to do. I wanted to kind of bring down, some of the things and some of the myths that a lot of photographers, think of quote unquote successful photographers when it comes to it. That, dude, we hustle just as much as everyone else.
So hard. Yeah.
So it's good to kind of sometimes tell and let everyone know, like, hey, man, not everything works out. We get undercut too. We all, all that stuff. But also, about stuff that you have, outside of photography. Do you guys currently have like any personal projects, or what's your inspiration? What's stuff that kind of brings you, refuels you?
Go ahead, Molinas. You first.
I'm gonna be honest, and I've been lacking in that aspect for a couple years now. But I was doing boudoir for fun for a little while, and that felt very liberating, and it kind of got
Were you shooting or were you modeling?
I was taking pictures. I was taking pictures. It was fun in the aspect of like I was able to do everything how I wanted. It wasn't a paying client, so I was able to just be free. I stopped doing it because of a bad experience that I had, but that's another story. But
we'll talk, because which to be honest, like that's one of the things that we've discussed, because obviously we have some of our ambassadors who are boudoir photographers, both male, and soon we're gonna have some female, and there's always thoughts and stuff like that, on how things are run. So that's something that's good that you brought something like that
as
up.
a male, you're already at a disadvantage in that market, but I was attracting the wrong type of person to collaborate with after a while, and it became not what I was like trying to get into. So I had a shoot scheduled, and it was more of like they wanted more content for their OnlyFans, and that's not what I signed up for.
Oh, okay.
Like I can't use that stuff. Like that's not what we agreed on. So once that happened, I just like stopped doing it. But
and then open an OnlyFans for you.
It was actually really funny.
Yeah,
I
it
wasn't
was-
even upset about it.
Yeah, it was. For me, it was like it kind of took away the joy of that genre for me, because
Okay.
it's not what I expected. It's not what we agreed to, collaborate with. But now I started shooting film for weddings, and that's also been a big change for me. Like it's helped me slow down and see things differently, and it's fun to like send out your film, because I've never got a chance to start with film. I've always shot digital, and now going back to the old days, because there seems to be a trend, or it's going up. The film photography is getting a little bit more popular now, so that's been really joyful for me, and just like sending it, getting into photos, and like, all right, I got the exposures right and stuff. It's been awesome.
That's what's crazy, because I mean, I shot film for a long time. Obviously, I started in film. I'm old, guys. So I started shooting film, whatever. And people were like, dude, why don't you shoot film? I'm like, no, no. Like, I've done that, man. I was like, I paid my dues. You know, I developed. I was like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. People were like, dude, but it's so liberating. I was like, to you? I was like, I was liberated a long time. I was liberated when digital came in. That's when I was liberated. Okay.
Yeah, now we're all going back.
You know, and now, you know, you have a lot of these photographers, but it's really cool. You know, it's also that, you know, the industry itself, it's kind of coming full circle,
yeah, 100%.
when it comes, you know, to it or whatever. And we're going to get a little bit more, you know, in depth into the aspect of, you know, kind of where the industry is going, what it's doing and stuff like that. So awesome. All right. So how about you, Jen?
I'm a business nerd,
Yeah,
so
she's more of a business
I'm not the
mind.
creative. So for the business end, I'm big on like education. So like on the down season, I refresh myself with like workshops, classes, seminars, going to conventions and things like that, and just re-upping on like what I need to know about social media trends and things like that, and being more creative now. Like I actually enjoy making reels now, so it's like that's been my creative thing. So that's
Okay.
like the only really creative thing that I focus on right now. But I'm more of the business back end of everything.
You're a content creator.
Content creator. There we go.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
But photography wise, I think for me,
Maybe travel, right?
yeah, more of going out and traveling and seeing the world in a different way. I would love to. I think what he said, we failed to jump into personal projects, and I've thought of things to do, but we just never have gotten to just implement it. It's just
Yeah.
because when you work, and then after that, you just want to be with family.
Yeah.
Like
No, absolutely.
just
You know, and I can completely like relate to that, especially and even now. Like even now, I rarely pick up my camera. You know,
Yeah.
when I go traveling, I never take my camera with me. But when I was working, you know, I had a lot of friends, you know, or colleagues that would, you know, take, you know, that would take their camera everywhere, you know, and their entire thing. And people were like, well, you know, you're a photographer. How come you don't take your camera? Like, because I don't want to live my life through a viewfinder. You know, like that's just not me. I mean, that's work. You know, I want to see my kids when they're enjoying themselves, you know. One of the greatest sayings that I have is, you know, the best camera you have is the one you have with you. So we all kind of carry our phones with us and stuff like that. So that's something that to me, that I mean, phones are getting better and better. Like now, would I go shoot a wedding with a phone? Absolutely not. That's two different things. But it's good enough to capture those memories that are kind of going on with my children, with my wife, with everything, you know, and still kind of remember those things. But even then, you know, I have this little thing that I started. It was called Follow Me Daddy. And I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's basically just me holding my kids or my wife's hand and stuff like that. And I take one picture and that's it. And then I remember that and everything kind of internalized. Now I go have fun.
Yeah.
You know, with that part. So that's awesome. So
Stuff that I do outside of photography. Oh, where do I start? A lot of things.
That's not work.
yeah, let's start.
That's not work related.
Yeah, that's not work related. This is like personal projects or just projects, like current projects that you have that
Oh my gosh.
that have nothing to do with work.
I don't know if I don't.
Ben,
If I turn that
Ben
off.
is the resident workaholic.
Ben, pick your wrist up and then tell us.
Yes,
Why'd you do it? No.
yes. Yeah, dude, I was so waiting for that. So before, so one of the things that we said before all of this is that we weren't gonna talk about watches. And I was like, within the first 15 minutes, we have to talk about a watch. Why? Because we have to. So anyway, so I'm assuming you're a watch collector.
As of a month or 2 months ago.
Oh,
Very recent.
fantastic.
I'll tell you.
So-
There's a story.
All right, there's a story behind
All
that.
right,
Okay.
so about as you do when you're when it's late at night and you're scrolling through YouTube and the YouTube algorithm just knows what you like to look at. So there are two videos that I cannot resist. The first one are those Dodo videos where they rescue shelter dogs or rescue animals out on the street and they have a happy ending, right?
Transformation.
Yeah, whatever. And then the
those.
second kind of video that I love are the restoration videos, right? So like, what happened? Oh, tequila videos? Oh, I need a drink. Oh,
Sorry. I'm gonna sip slow.
So
I'm good.
Before we started this whole thing, it was like, oh yeah, we're gonna kill this, no problem or whatever. Yes.
I never said that.
I'll keep up with you. I'll keep up with you. Okay.
I never said
Everybody,
that.
show your glasses. Come on.
I'll keep up.
I'm on
There you
brand.
go.
I said I would not.
Okay.
I'm about like halfway. Which is
All
not
right,
bad.
all right. Let's go back. Let's go back. So dodo videos, rescue videos.
Rescue videos. And then the second kind of video that I cannot resist are restoration videos, whether it's knives, machinery, old tools, bikes, whatever.
Absolutely, yeah.
And there was this one video where this guy, he pulled out like an old Omega watch out of the river.
Oh, I've seen those. Those are fantastic.
And it was just destroyed, right?
Yeah.
And so he started messing with it. It was like an hour-long video. I
Yeah.
stayed up that
An
night for an
hour?
hour.
My God.
Right? He
Yeah.
fixed the thing. It looked brand new. I was like,
Absolutely, yeah.
that's a $10,000 watch. And he made it look brand new. I was like, you know what? I could do this, right? So I had an old watch laying around the house. It was an old Seiko that I bought for myself when I graduated. It was, see, all right, I'll tell you, there's a side story to this, right?
Short
So
versions, Ben. Short versions.
we got time, guys.
That is true.
We got time. So, my dad, he bought himself a watch with his first paycheck after, when he got his first job.
Correct,
So I was
yeah.
like, I'm going to continue that tradition. I told Aiden this too. He said, with his first paycheck, when he works, he's going to buy himself a nice watch. So anyway, so I bought this
I'll
watch.
buy him a watch.
So I bought this watch, and it was my daily wear for like 10 years. It was all beat up and just scuffed up and everything. And it had been sitting in my drawer. So I was like, you know what? After watching this video, I am basically a professional. So I bought about $150 worth of stuff, and I started messing with it, just like tinkering with it. Oh my God, I got it looking brand new. After a couple days, I think, just making a mess in my office.
Couple days.
And I was like, you know what? This is pretty awesome. I was like, and this is a nice watch for a 21-year-old, right?
Yeah.
I need to get a grown-up watch now. So
So that's how it. So that's how it started.
multiple
So that's
grown-up
how you
watches.
did it.
so
started.
when I went,
So then that's when you cracked the whip and you started with the third company. You were like, "What? You guys need to get more weddings."
the third company. Well,
Yeah.
the third company was in 2013. This watch thing is a month old, 2 months old.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Then
Now-
now that you
now
have
you're-
now you're like
you have a hobby.
you
You
need
need more things.
Oh,
Yeah.
like,
You
yeah,
guys
you
need
need
to be more personal.
Yeah.
yeah. You guys need to be more personal now because
Funny how he said it. Like recently, we wanted to get more personal. Well, about a month and a half ago that started, maybe.
Fourth
So
watch was ordered.
yeah.
So
okay.
So I'm not going to go in there and start buying Rolexes and Omegas
Yeah,
and
of
stuff
course,
like
yeah.
that, right? So I got to start small. And I originally only had a budget of maybe a couple $100 or whatever. And then Karis, of course, I brought my wife along to buy my first watch, and she basically tripled my my budget. She's like, "Well, if you're gonna get a watch, don't go cheap, go big."
With anything.
So what? Okay. So when you said what watch did you get?
Well, this is not the one that I bought. This
Okay,
is-
but
this
what
is my-
was the watch that you
It was
bought?
a Citizen Atessa, right?
Okay.
And
So if Esteban is on on here watching, or Sean Lara, if you guys are on here, judge him.
it's not a bad
It's
watch.
not. I don't know anything about watches, dude. I have like right here, mira.
We have
like,
Apple
with
Watches.
this one right here.
We all have Apple Watches.
Yeah, with this one I put anything like that.
Well, the other thing is,
Whatever.
the other thing was like
This one tells me the
We were
weather.
taking branding photos. We did photos twice, right? Maybe 3 times, right? And I had my smartwatch with me the whole time, and my notifications were on the photos. I was like, well, I can't have that, so I need to get a grown-up watch. So in any case, I wasn't gonna go and buy like a several $1,000 watch. So I was like, all right, I can drop $1,000, $1,500, or whatever.
We
it is.
started. Now we have 30-minute story.
So
What? We got time. How much? I thought we keep recording till the
just
tequila
give
runs
us
out.
a footnote.
we do. We do, but as of right now, I'm the only one that has refilled.
We told you not to
So.
talk about the watch.
So anyway, so I got that first watch, and I was like, you know what? This is too nice. This is too nice of a watch for me to wear, like to go to the beach or something like that. So I need to get a beach watch. So this is what this one is. This is a more casual watch.
There's no
then-
beaches in Dallas.
In Texas.
It's a little bit
Fantastic.
more
yeah.
casual. And then I was like, this is too casual to wear with a suit, and the other one's too too worky, So I needed to get a dress watch. So that was my third watch
So how many watches do you currently have?
that my wife knows of. 5.
Oh wait, I thought it was 4 this
6.
morning.
How
I'm sorry,
many-
there's 6. There's 6.
How many
There's 6,
watches do
there's
you
6.
actually have?
6. There's
How
6.
many
There's
did you
6.
actually
No, including
buy?
the smartwatch, the Apple Watch. I do have a smartwatch. It's 7.
All right, seven watches. Cool. Awesome.
That's 6 more than me.
Fantastic. All right, so we got the watches out of the way. See, this is why I wanted to do it. Get it out of the way, get done. Here we go.
Don't talk about it again.
Now we will talk about it again. All right. Now,
What do you do for
Yeah.
leisure?
for leisure? What
Um,
besides tripling his budget for watches?
kids. Well, right now, currently, kids. I recently got into film photography too,
Okay.
and so I'm trying that out. And for me, it's kids.
Okay. Yeah.
School, being with them with school activities. and I go take photos for their activities, school stuff. Now our older one is graduating, so a lot of graduation photos. Yeah, making memories with the boys.
With
Minus Ben Lau.
Making memories without
Single mom.
So with all that said, with the project and stuff like that, let's go into now into like the work type of it. One of the things that we we consistently get questions of and stuff like that is about motivation. What keeps you motivated? What keeps you kind of moving forward when it comes to your work, when it comes to, keeping going, but especially now the world is so small with the way, somebody can find a photographer in Malaysia, anywhere across the world. When it comes to it, but what keeps you kind of motivated? What gives you that motivation to kind of keep striving forward?
Yeah, that's an easy one for me too. We talked about we talked about this in the most recent episode. Yes, I'm the one that scrubs it, so I know.
So you guys, So if you guys want to expand on that, they talked about it in your last episode. So we're definitely gonna go.
Yeah. So at least for us, actually, I think it's multimillionaires too. Our fear of failure motivates us. Our success is just a byproduct of our fear of failure.
So okay, let's dive a little bit more into that. What is failure? Like when it comes to this, like what is the failure part of it?
Unable to support my family, keep a roof over our heads, unable to pay the bills.
Okay.
We need to be able to cover our expenses.
Okay, which is fantastic, because to me that's what failure was, not being able. Because we have mortgages. Like my driving force behind the entire thing was being able to, like I said, support the family. To many others, especially photographers who are single, who are starting out, or like, oh, I want to get published, I want to get this, which is very, very different. When it comes to to that situation, do you think that that's what makes you quote unquote a professional photographer? The fact that you depend, like this is your job, or what do you guys think makes a professional photographer?
That's tough.
That's a deep question.
Because
it is.
I feel like for us, even though we were so-called photographers, we really didn't know what we were doing till like the second half of our business. I think for me, like a professional would probably be when. Well, let's not talk about the technical stuff. The technical stuff, because a hobbyist could, do the technical stuff. I think a professional is when your customer service is at a level that people expect, and it doesn't change from client to client. Like it's consistent, and you're just providing like the consistent level of work for everyone that hires you. I mean, I feel like that answer could be different for everybody too, right?
Yeah, but then also be able to keep that consistent to, again, make you're living off of it. That would be that for me, I guess.
Yeah. How do you define a professional wedding photographer? Someone who's making a living off of it?
Full time.
Full time? I mean, yeah.
But then, like you said, but also maintaining a high level of service and commitment to the
Yeah.
business.
But I
You
think
can run a business and be professional, but there's a lot of shadiness behind the scenes, and I wouldn't call you professional because you're not delivering a product, or you're just taking people's money and running.
Or how you
wouldn't
behave
be
even on a wedding day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
acting unprofessional, or your service to client. You don't answer emails for weeks. Then it's like
You're running a business, but
Yeah.
you're not very professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the big things when it comes to to our industry, that and this is you can see it in the market, people around January, February, and March, there's an influx of photographers in the industry because they got a camera in December. And all of a sudden, you have a lot of you have a lot of these, and then by mid-year, a lot of them have kind of gone away, and stuff like that. And that's one of the big things that I would get a lot of questions, and even up to now, when we go to trade shows and stuff like that, people are like, well, how do I consider myself a professional? And I was like, and it's a hard question. It really genuinely is, to me, like I think you said, I think everybody has a different definition of what it is. To me, did I ever consider myself a professional? I mean, I'm a business. I was like, I'm always learning, when it came to it, but I think you should always be learning. I don't care what you do. I mean, brain surgeons are constantly, evolving and stuff
updating
like
their
that,
procedures
stuff like
and-
that. So why couldn't we? But I think I think I'm with you guys when it comes to running a business and supporting, and that's your income. That's where you kind of move forward. I think that's the driving force behind everything. Cool.
The motivation.
Yeah, and the motivation. Awesome.
Especially like my background, like I come from a low income family, so I know what it's like to have nothing, and
Yep.
that like feeling is just like I don't ever want to go back to that. So like that motivation alone just keeps me hustling, keeps us hustling, and I also like the advantage. I tell everyone this: it's two of us, so we have double the firepower of going out there to hustle and find new ways to bring business. It's harder for one person to do it, and we're at an advantage that both of us are.
We're very lucky.
Yeah, we're fortunate.
That's great. So Daniel Aguilar said it's like owning a pro camera, of course. That's what makes you a professional.
Who, Danny Aguilar said
Daniel
that?
Aguilar, yeah.
Like a D700?
So yeah. Oh, you gotta call that. So we were literally actually talking about you, Daniel. Like on the way here, we were talking about that, and because Ro basically said he was like that he asked you one question. Hey, do you still
in Vegas,
shoot with
yeah.
the D700? And you said yeah.
Yeah.
But here is the one thing with Daniel. Daniel, honestly, like I'm in awe at the talent that this individual has. Him, Fer, and we started our careers very, around the same time. And I remember just seeing, what Daniel was doing with just a regular, camera when I was desiring, I was like, oh my God, and this is the thing. He's Nikon, I'm Canon. I'm like, oh. So we always have this all day. I was like, oh, well, your D700 doesn't compare to my, 5D Mark I. But it was, and that's what's that when it comes to it, and to me that's part of the professionalism of individuals. Some of the greatest images were taken with basic cameras. And that's what's fantastic, where the talent and the tool doesn't necessarily have to match. So that's when it comes, and the old age, saying when your client comes up and he's all like, oh, that's a great camera. It must take great pictures.
You goddamn right it does.
So with that, kind of with that said, we kind of veered off on the inspiration aspect of it. You were talking about what drives you is moving forward, supporting the family, making sure that everything's taken care of. I mean, you have family, you have kids, all that stuff, mortgage. Like same with you guys. So what's your drive? What's your inspiration behind?
To keep moving forward, or aligned with him, of course, is just to be able to maintain, our lives and how we live, but also the motivation to actually get up and like go to a shoot that day or go to a wedding is honestly our couples and our clients, because we work on such a personable level with them that it's like we're going to go hang out with friends. So that just be like, all right, I'm going to go out. I'm going to go spend time with these amazing people. We're going to have fun. It doesn't feel like work. So like when we had 9 to 5, there was no motivation to go to work. It was like rinse and repeat
Torture.
every day. So we found something that drives us and also puts some money in our pockets to live. So that's the motivation. Is definitely maintaining that level that we have with our couples.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, when we come home, like in the few instances where we work together, we come home from work, we're bringing our bags into the house. I'm like, I can't believe this is what we do for a living. Every time we, it's like,
Every time we talk about it.
it's like I can't.
Leaving to wedding in the driveway, rolling our bags into
the car.
We're like, we still can't believe this is what we do for
Yeah.
a living.
We get to do this for a living
We're-
because
we're-
we just like the Molinas, we know what our life was like beforehand.
Yeah.
Like
We're
when we were
grateful.
starting this business, we had nothing. We were, the four of us in one, not the four of us, but like us and our two
and two
kids.
boys.
In one bedroom, office. It's just tiny little
500
space.
We had a moment where we had $500 in our bank account.
When we started the
when we were
business.
starting the business, and we're like, are we gonna make it? Like,
Yeah.
this is the right path. Literally, we're like, we're working so hard, but like, here we are.
And
Yep.
Yeah, that was
That
almost
was-
15 years ago.
Yeah, which is fantastic. I mean, you guys, I mean, from that, and that's inspiration alone to a lot of you guys who are out there and you know, and women who are kind of doubting. I mean, this is one of the reasons why, you know, make sure you keep moving. If there's something that you absolutely love, and you know you're gonna succeed at it. I mean, that's great. Like to be able to hear that you guys, you know, with the family and everything, you had. And now you own basically 3 companies, you know, doing what you love, you know, and it's awesome. I mean, that's inspiration alone, you know, to a lot of photographers. So keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like don't. Awesome. Okay. So right now, we have Daniel said it's puro D700 power. he's still going on. Sean Black, actually, I saw that popped up when we were talking about boudoir. Yeah. So Sean Black, as you know, he's one of our Gikoto ambassadors, and he does boudoir. Right. Him and his wife, Michelle, have an amazing boudoir studio. They used to shoot weddings. Now all they do is boudoir, or whatever. And I have a very funny story that I'm gonna hold off for when he comes in, because he's supposed to come in and do one of these as well, of my thoughts about male photographers in the boudoir world, and how I kind of stuck my foot in my mouth, you know, during that.
I'm kidding.
During that time.
Don't cancel it.
Yeah, during that time. So, you know, kind of going back with the whole inspiration types of, you know, that's it's great to see that. You know, obviously you guys run your businesses differently in the way you do things, but yet the inspiration behind both of you guys seems to be kind of like the same.
I think the thing that makes us most alike is that we are both putting as much effort into our own businesses. Yeah. I think that's a common thread between our you know, despite we have so many brands, but despite the fact that we have so many brands, it's, you know, we're putting equal amount of work into our business to make sure that it's working. Because the thing is, and I talk about this all the time, like, you know, when people sign up to be a wedding photographer, they think it's just the creative aspects in what they do. They kind of overlook the business side of what they have to do, the marketing side, the sales side, the accounting side.
That's more of the time.
You spend a lot of your time doing that stuff, you know?
Yep.
Like, yes, I know you didn't sign up to be a content creator or influencer or blogger or writer or salesperson. You know, you got into this business to create art. But the thing is, if you create art but nobody buys it, it's no different than a 5-year-old putting together a doodle and hoping somebody will buy it. You know what I mean? You got to be able to move that art, or else it's just no different than a 5-year-old doodle.
Yeah, I mean that kind of makes sense.
Talking about a golden doodle.
But yeah, no, definitely. I mean that's definitely, and I think that's one of the things that's kind of happening right now, which kind of it's a great segue into what we're moving on next, which is kind of like the, you know, I think we all kind of have our own ideas of where kind of the state of the industry is. You know, with photography. So that's definitely a great segue into moving on to that.
It's tasting better and better.
So
Really, I feel like it's stronger and stronger. So
I'm on my second one.
I'm gone to my water.
all right, so we're gonna.
Second pour?
This is my second one.
So before we go into you know our next segment, let's cheers.
Still the same.
For that one,
Still on the
salud.
first one?
Cheers. Yeah, still on first one.
Yeah.
It'll be there for a while.
I'm on my second.
You're in your second one?
For you guys who
I gotta keep up with
are
this guy.
currently viewing, you know, and everything, if you guys have any questions or everything, please, you know, put them in the comments or whatever. If you need, you know, if you do want to do that, make sure that you're following us. Click that follow button. We're gonna do this a little bit more often, but right now we're having a great conversation, you know, with these wonderful people from you know, Focus AF, which if you haven't seen any other podcasts, please do. They're fantastic. I've been listening to them and laughing my behind off on most of them and stuff like that. But they have a lot of great, you know, information, and they talk about pretty much everything that it comes on it. So
A lot of nonsense. And then we get the good stuff.
But
more
yeah,
nonsense.
absolutely.
It's fun.
You know, but it's the same here, and we actually add alcohol to this one. So you know.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's talk a little. So the next thing that I want to kind of talk about is let's talk a little bit about the industry. We're all in the photography industry. Obviously, you know, us as Gikoto, where we try to develop tools, for you guys that I wish I had, when I was shooting, and stuff like that. But also, we all go to trade shows. We all go to, from big ones to small ones, but also just the current state of the photo industry, not only in the wedding photography, but in general. What are your thoughts currently right now with what's kind of... So let's start off with the basic.
That's a loaded question.
Yes. And there's gonna be, and
industry. Okay.
I'll add a little bit. I feel like there's so much to talk about, but I feel like the industry is going through a big change right now, and people are having a hard time accepting it, and they're not willing to pivot to what's going on. Yeah.
So you say that there's a change in the industry. In what way what type of change do you think?
So there's a style wise that I'm seeing, and also the way you market your business has changed a lot too. And no longer is the days where you just shoot a wedding, you blog it, or you just shoot a wedding, put 10 teasers up on Instagram and hope that you'll get leads. It's way more than that. You have to engage way more. I know Jen spends hours figuring out what type of content to put out. And me and Ben see this in our local groups of people complaining about not getting enough leads and not like you said before, they didn't sign up to be a content creator, and that's not what this business is about. But a lot of people are having a hard time to look at themselves and figure out what's broken. The same people that are complaining, you look at their websites, it's 10 years old. There's nothing personal about their brand. And now I feel like today people want something more personal. And when they go to your website and it takes them 5 minutes to find out who you are, you pretty much lost that potential client already. And people don't want to put in the work to attract more leads now. And then the style wise, I'm seeing more of the trendy stuff, and it's hard as a photographer to look at all this stuff and say, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do the blurry photo trend. I'm not gonna shoot film and stuff like that. But if we don't adjust and make these things, incorporate these things into our style, we're gonna get left behind. So that's my thought on how the industry is. People are just hesitant of just changing, and I don't know if for us, we're making small tweaks and seeing the benefits. So,
There's I'm not a big reader. I don't, but there are certain books that I kind of gravitate and have kind of pulled me in. One book is called Hook Point. I don't know if you guys have read that one. And it talks actually about what you were talking about, basically about kind of getting that hook, in a 3-second world. And it's very good about it, kind of explaining on the current situation of just the industry in itself, of how kids now, even though now they're kind of expanding, from TikTok to everything else, where you can now have longer videos, but if you don't hook them within those first 10 seconds or whatever, they're kind of gone. And it's a really good book that kind of explains all of that, and kind of the delineation of how the industry or every industry has kind of shifted more into that digital era of how things are going, to be able to just hook them up, from the beginning, from before, when shows, even TV shows, they would leave you on a cliffhanger. Now the cliffhanger is at the beginning of the thing, and then they'll go into the actual show.
Yes, I've noticed that.
Which is it's a really interesting book. It's called Hook Point.
People don't want to wait.
Yeah.
People don't
No,
want
they
to wait.
don't. No, they.
Yeah.
And what's fantastic is you guys have seen Breaking Bad,
Yeah.
right? So Breaking Bad was genius at doing that, where they would tell you the ending before, and then the entire episode
and then the story
would go.
unfolds of how it
And if
happened.
Daniel, if you're still watching, I mean,
That was one of my
Daniel,
clients.
So
K-drama does it too. K-drama.
yeah, so
Lost was also good at this.
Lost was good, but they kind of dropped it at the end.
Yeah.
No, they dropped it at the end. I was like,
Once everybody went
that
back
part.
to real life.
They went weird.
yeah, but yeah, okay, but then, yeah, that's a great. How about you, Joe?
everything Rose said, but on the flip side too, I think this is what we talk about all the time on the podcast is we've kind of we've gone back to 2019 because 2020 to 22 was like mass chaos, weddings. We were each doing like 50 a year backlog. Everyone wanted to get married. We didn't have to work as hard for the bookings because they were just coming to us, and it was just like
Easy street.
it was
easy.
amazing.
It was
For
an abundance.
everybody was working. There was
Yeah.
an abundance, and now it's kind of leveled back off, and we've kind of forgotten where we were prior to 2019 with like, okay, we're doing less weddings, but this is what we were doing before, so we're not in a bad place as we thought we are. It's just we're kind of leveling back off. But the people who took that time off in those 3 years because they were just getting work and didn't really put in the work behind the scenes are kind of falling off and having issues. So I don't think it's people are saying no one's going to get married anymore. Weddings are dead. Like that's where we're going. I don't think that's the case. I think it's just kind of gone back to the way things were before.
Yeah, I mean that's a great, especially with weddings. If one industry that is going to be pretty consistent on things is going to be the wedding industry. Now things are going to change when it comes to how from advertisement to everything else. It's going to go. But weddings, people are going to keep getting married. Maybe a little bit less than other years and stuff like
But they
that.
spend a little less.
But yeah, exactly. But that's something that's gonna keep going. In that stuff. So yeah, absolutely. How about you, Ben?
Just to piggyback off of what Jen said, like it was very easy for a couple of years. Are you on your third one?
And my third one. Yeah.
I said I was going to keep up with you.
Yes, you did.
Good luck.
Don't,
I said I
please.
wasn't,
Oh my
so
God,
I'm fine.
please don't.
You're gonna have to carry Ben out of here.
I said I was
Like
going
a
to
potato
keep up with this guy. No, sack of rice. I'm Asian.
You're gonna look like that dummy they have over there at the table.
We'll put him next to
Miguel, what's his name? Miguel.
I got to keep up with this guy.
The dummy you have, Miguel.
Luis.
So.
I don't have to drive, so.
We're gonna put you next to Louise.
Yeah. So I agree with Jen. Like it was very easy 2020 was a kind of a mess. Right?
Oh, yeah, that
But 21, 22, and 23, oh my God, it was just easy bookings, easy street. We got more bookings than we knew to do with. Karis, when she launched her brand, she launched it in 21, I want to say. 21?
21.
Mid 2020.
No, it was 21, I think. We were starting to get the reschedules. Anyway, within her first 2 weeks, she got 3 bookings. First 2 weeks of launching her website, she got 3 bookings.
Almost 20 weddings
Right?
first year.
So like it was easy.
Awesome.
It was. I mean, no, she earned those bookings, right? For
Yeah,
sure.
of course,
But,
yeah.
But it was.
Hello.
But nevertheless, the bookings came easy, and what happened during that time was that there was more work than there was talent, right? And so you have all these people coming out of the woodwork. They're learning the ropes. And now after, peak COVID is finished, 23 is finished, now you have all these new shooters that came out of the woodwork, and now they have 3 years at least 3 seasons of weddings under them. Now they're decent. Actually, they're good, right? They're super talented, and they're hungry, right? So now you're in a situation where you have an engagement gap. You have, let's call a spade, right? The reality of it is that there are less weddings to go around, okay?
Yeah.
But the ones who are doing well are the ones who continuously worked on their business throughout this time. And also, it's these really hungry folks who are just really going for it, right? Those are the people who are doing okay right now. They continue to work on their craft, right? They continue to work on their craft. They continue to work on their business. Those are the people that are doing okay. I don't think we're at a time when we're normalizing it because the people who are there are still people struggling, know, and because a lot of it has to do with the fact that they haven't come to the grips. They haven't come to grips that they need to adapt. They need to change, because it's stuff that you did 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It's not going to work with today's clients.
Yeah.
It's a different. We want to talk about how much the industry changed. The clientele also changed as well. How they share their information, or rather how they
Absolutely.
engage with brands. It's completely different.
Even the size of weddings when it kind of came in, during COVID, you had all of a sudden you had all these micro weddings that people thought was the future, what it was, and now that lasted, and I was one of the ones things like, man, I think this is just gonna be a temporary thing during COVID. I was like, I think after that people are gonna want the massive weddings, the big weddings that everybody comes in, because they're hungry, they're And we'll talk a little bit more about this because we saw this at trade shows, at conferences. But yeah, no, I agree with you in that aspect. So,
What are your thoughts from the opposite side, from the vendor side,
on how?
on the state of the industry?
We'll get to that, and yeah, we'll definitely get to that because I do want we're definitely gonna is because I want to move into what you guys have seen both us, as a company, and what we're trying to get, to artists, to photographers, and stuff like that, as well as you guys as consumers, when for trade shows and conferences and stuff like that. So we're definitely gonna talk about that, good and bad about everything that's kind of going on there. So, so we have one more over here with
State of the
Karis,
industry.
State of the industry.
We're good.
I don't think you need to move it that much.
No, she's good.
I think everything they said, and for me, I guess it's really flexibility and trying to evolve. But if you are not willing to do that, I think you're just gonna be left behind in any industry or whatever you do. And I also think maybe cameras and gears and even phones are getting better and way more accessible to people. So I think there are way more, like, I think photographers.
Yeah, done before.
And, they could come in with like $1,000, $2,000 full day weddings. And, and for regular couples, they may not know the difference of photos. Oh, this person's charging $2,000, this person's charging $6,000. Same coverage hours or maybe more, and giving way more. They may throw in an album there, so why go with this person than this person?
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look at their portfolio. Oh, they have in a portfolio. Like they look like they know what they're doing. So unless the client is really picky and they like photo video is so important to them, they know what they're looking for.
They know what to look for,
specifically,
yeah.
Right? But other than that, I think that's another issue too that us, 10 plus veterans are kind of competing with too. A lot of new up and coming, and now we have content creators.
So I think
We're not competing against that.
We're not. But
and I think with everything that's kind of going on, I think you hit a little bit, on that. Do you think that, and we'll discuss this a little bit more in depth or whatever, with a lot of these individuals that are getting into the industry, they're younger. They don't have as much responsibility as,
Mortgages,
stuff like that.
kids.
And they have a lot more tools, at their disposal than, for example, from when we first started, with AI, and there's something that we're definitely going to be talking about here in a little bit, with Adobe and their new slogan that they kind of came out, or their new, to skip the photo shoot type stuff.
Did they?
Yeah. So we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about some of the other stuff
things on AI this week.
So, but do you think that has had kind of an impact on what's currently going on with what we've been saying of the industry? Has it been watered down because of it, because of those individuals who are coming in, who are new, who are talented and hungry, but also don't have responsibilities as,
Watered down in what way?
I don't know, for like what she was saying, that are undercutting, that are
obviously.
Well,
that-
I don't. When you have new people coming into the market, I did a poll in my group. Shout out to the Kick-Ass Sales and Marketing group with Go Getting Creatives, right? There's a poll that I did, and I asked people, what did you guys charge when you first started?
Oh,
I know
first
what you guys.
wedding?
Yeah, first wedding. How much did you
It
guys
was
charge?
like $150, no?
It was $160.
There you go.
$160. I charged $400. Do you remember what you charged for your first wedding?
Yeah,
How much?
3,500.
$3,500.
$35.
Yeah,
Did you really?
yeah.
Well, you came from you were shooting
From
fashion.
you said.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It had nothing to do with that. It's because I did, like, the first few weddings that we shot, I didn't charge anything.
Oh, so then 0.
Yeah, 0.
So, but yeah, but
Very
no, but
first.
but
Very
your
first,
paid.
very
but the
first.
very first paid was 3,500.
Oh, but you had like the portfolio ready to back
Yeah.
it up. Oh,
Oh.
no. We did it.
Shot few.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we
yeah,
charged
yeah,
150.
So you did it for free to get the
The,
portfolio
yeah,
done.
with other photographers and
Right.
second shot
Right,
and
right,
stuff
right,
like
right. I was
that.
damn, 3,500. Damn.
Yeah. And then went up. Yeah.
How many Moses cruises?
How many cruises? I was doing the math, right? That is about 70 Moses cruises. Right? Karis got you beat. Her first wedding was $4,000.
Karis, you're gonna have to talk a little bit more into the
Okay,
mic
okay.
when you speak.
Yeah.
Who was it?
They can't hear you.
Eric Kessler.
I thought it was dirty. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought my brother.
Yeah. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, I did a poll, and the thing is, when people are first starting out, they're charging accordingly. You don't want these people that are coming into the market. Yes, we know that they're hungry, but you don't want them coming into the market just like, hey, I'm $4,000, I deserve it. This is what I deserve, so I'm going to charge $4,000. These are a lot of these people I end up talking to as a student, in my coaching group and stuff. Like, what made you decide that you're going to come into this with 1 year of experience, 2 years of experience, and you're going to be charging market rate? You know what I mean? With only 6 weddings under your belt. You know what I mean? In what world does that happen?
Not
just,
in world now. World now, yes.
You charge whatever you can get away with, right? But I don't subscribe to that. Like.
Well, you may not, but
The thing is,
That's what's
the
happening.
thing is, they're struggling with bookings. That's the thing, right?
well, some are out, some are not, and
Yeah.
some people
the
are.
talent has to be aligned with the
Yes,
product,
of course, but
with the price.
ow, you're stepping on my toe.
I can't
Stop
feel it.
dickering.
I can't feel anything.
Stop dickering.
You're wearing boots and I'm wearing slippers.
But I think it's always been that way, hasn't it? For like years, that there's always people that come in and undercut.
Of course.
I think what the newer generation coming in is better at is marketing. Like they know how to.
They grew up with these tools.
They know these
Yeah.
tools. They know Reels. They know TikTok. They are comfortable in front of it, and then that gets them to be able to say like, "Yeah, I can come shoot your wedding for $3,000-$4,000."
They're
So I wouldn't-
They're cooler than us.
So but I feel like it's been industry for years where it's just always people coming in and
the
undercut.
point that I was trying to make is, that is not your competition. Don't worry about these people who are charging less than you are, right? Because you started from somewhere, they started from somewhere,
Correct,
I started
yeah.
from somewhere. Like, don't worry about these people who are charging half your price, okay? They have other things that they got to worry about, right? And if they're overcharging, they are going to learn that lesson soon enough that they're overcharging.
And I think that's something that we've always had. I mean, even I've been in the industry for a long time, and we've always had that. We've always had people
Yeah.
who had would come in, and they don't last very long. One because either they burn bridges, two they stop delivering. Because they realize, oh my God, I'm giving free albums, and I only charge $300, and an album it's $150, even if you go to the cheapest one. So they end up, and they actually kind of price themselves out of the market when it comes to it. So that's always absolutely has
Right.
always been kind of been around. Nowadays, with everything that's kind of one thing that I had a lot of big discussions with a lot of friends of mine who did a lot of like in-person sales and stuff like that. I never did, since a lot of my clients were outside of Texas or either outside the U.S. I never did in-person sales.
They would
So
go Zoom then.
yeah,
You can do it on
so
Zoom now.
yeah, so but the thing about it is, like, for example, if I had a client that was in Spain, or if I had a client that was in Mexico or whatever, it's harder for me to try to sell them an album that I would sell here for $4,000 to somebody that was somewhere else. So I never did. All I did was digital. For the most part, was digital. I did sell a few albums, and I did do very well, when I did those things. And nowadays, do you think? I mean, do you guys offer albums? Do you
Yes.
guys print?
we-
Do
we-
you guys?
we-
Do
we
we?
can
Yeah,
go.
Can we
and-
preach?
Yeah.
Can we preach?
Please.
I'll let Jen take over, but what I do want to say is that we were a file only business for a long time, and once we switched over to IPS, two things happened.
You guys got a pool.
Shut up.
So two things. We
You got a
made
pool?
Yes.
we made a third more money off the bat, which was mind blowing.
Yeah.
And number two was it made us realize our worth, because once we saw how much money our couples were spending post wedding, we were like, holy shit, we were leaving all this money on the table,
yeah.
for a decade, right? I don't know how, I don't even want to count how much money we left on the table, but it
Enough
also,
to buy a pool.
it it also helped us scale back a little bit because we were shooting a lot. We were shooting 40 to 50 weddings a year. Oh God! And I felt like
all of us.
oh
We all
yeah,
shoot that volume.
yeah.
Really?
Oh, even recent years, yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have 35.
It's
this year.
just
We shoot
like
about 100,
this year,
120.
last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay. You shoot 100 and 100
Our,
weddings
between the three brands,
Between-
120.
Okay. Well, that makes
Yeah, yeah.
But I personally
Yeah.
do about 40-ish. She does about
Yeah.
20-ish.
We come from doing 50, 60 weddings,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
us two. Yep.
That's one thing that we shared. in
And that
common,
was
too.
like full day weddings, sometimes like 12 hours of triples.
No. Okay. You guys are badass.
So,
No, I kept mine. Very early on in my career for 20 weddings, 24 max.
Oh
a
yeah,
year.
we've never shot under 30, 40.
Every year.
But I think what's different in us too is like, it's both of us in the business. So,
it's
like,
two incomes.
it has
Okay.
to supplement
Has to cover-
two
has to
incomes.
cover two
Yeah.
incomes.
So we have to.
there is
Damn
a,
it,
there
damn
is
it.
a there is a sweet spot.
Okay, I agree.
There is a sweet spot for us, and because of back to IPS, because because of IPS, we've kind of
chop,
cut
chop.
back a little bit to that sweet spot.
Okay, yeah.
Where we were able to provide a better product and also better service.
Yeah.
And still make even more money. IPS has changed our
Absolutely.
lives.
A lot.
Which is fantastic, because that's a question that a lot of people kind of ask, when they would, I would be like, hey, I'm not an in-person sales individual, but that's because it doesn't work for what I do because of my clients.
Yeah.
I was like, but I have, I have people and, colleagues who are killing it. They're selling, $10, $15, $20,000, post wedding.
Yep.
Because it works because they do, IPS and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So,
But for us, we don't do it ourselves because that was the biggest
Hurdle
for us was that we don't feel salesy or like we don't want to come across that way, and we're not good salespeople.
so do you have somebody that
We
does
have an
the
outside
post-sales?
company that does
Okay.
it for us.
Okay.
And we use the same company as
Yeah.
well.
Okay. And you guys can name drop. That's
Yeah.
fine. I don't.
Shout out to Asset, owned by Michaela Harris.
Okay.
And they've been incredible. They have a sales team that will basically step in for us, and they treat our couples the same way that we treat them, and they go with them through the entire process. And I think the biggest thing to think about when you're getting into IPS is that fear of like, oh, why would people spend this much on that? I wouldn't even spend it on that. It's again being like you would drop, let's say like if you couldn't get that bottle of tequila that costs like $2,000. If you were willing to drop the money, you would go out and get it, right? It depends on what you value.
It depends
so
on
never,
my wife.
yeah, and your wife, but don't ever say what
Yeah.
dictate what your clients would spend.
Right.
Absolutely.
And you have to realize that too, the images that you're delivering, once they're on the phone or the computer, your clients will hardly ever look at them again. So having something tangible and physical that they can look at is very important, and you stress that importance to your couples. I think the new generation is now getting it, and they love it and appreciate it too. And so you actually have to practice what you preach and really have the passion for it, and that kind of gives you the returns.
I
That
think
that you
even
want.
the whole film trend coming back, and Polaroid cameras and whole retro going back with the new generation. I think that is helping a lot with prints and albums, printing your own photos. Yep.
Yeah, I would say when we grew up, we had like you would go to CVS, drop off your little disposable, get your prints
Yep.
back, and that would be exciting.
Yep,
And
little photo
now I
album,
can
look
go
through
back
them.
and flip them through. Between when the digital age started, like 2005 to maybe the past couple of years, all my photos are digital. I don't have them printed. Like
Yeah.
I can't just go easily pull up. Oh, let me go look at these photos from 20, whatever.
You have to go to your hard drive.
Yeah. So now I
your
think it's really
server.
important to have something in
But
print.
the biggest takeaway that I have from starting IPS, is that number 5 or 4?
Ben's watching.
4. I'm counting. I'm keeping up with him. So I got to make sure, because I made a promise. I'm a man of my word.
Yes, you are.
Good luck.
And I'm keeping up, okay?
Well, I'm
you
a
gotta finish
woman
that.
of my word, and I'm still on number 1. So
Ben, cheers.
You don't even know what I'm capable of, guys.
cheers. I'm my number 1 still, guys.
So no.
Roro.
So what was I saying? The major takeaway that I have, and actually this is a great quote that I got from Mr. Fundy himself, right? Like, if you have a friend who is buying a nice car or buying a nice watch or buying a nice whatever, right? Are you going to say, hey, I wouldn't spend money on that? You're spending way too much money. Well, if you said that to your friend, you'd be the asshole, right? Like, why would you say that to your clients? Oh, that's too expensive. You don't want to buy that book. You know, it's too expensive. Why would you say that? You would be the asshole, okay? So, like, why would you say no for your clients? All right, let your clients decide what they want to buy and what they want to spend their money on, right? Who are you to say, hey, listen, my clients are not going to spend money, $2,000 on an album or $4,000 on an album, $10,000 on an album, whatever,
Yeah.
you know?
It starts with the mentality first to change.
Yeah.
Right.
And to his point, like it made us see our it
Word.
validated us in a way to be like, okay, yeah, we took something that people will cherish forever, and they're willing to invest on it post wedding or post engagement, whatever. That this is something very powerful and meaning to them. And now I can say like our photos are in hundreds of people's homes, printed on an album that so many generations are going to look
Absolutely.
at. So that's like a validation to us on what we're doing and what our purpose is, and you know, that's again
Right.
back to motivation to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Is that's pretty much
Yeah, you
our
can't
purpose.
sell what you don't show, so you got to show it, right?
Yeah.
That's the first step. Before we weren't showing albums because we signed on with the asset team about a year and a half ago, right? About a year and a half ago, right? Prior to that, we were like, there's no one's going to spend that kind of money. It was never. I mean, it was on the menu, but in a different way. And we're like, no one's going to spend that kind of money. But sure enough, you know, within my first month or 2 months of doing IPS, Well, I didn't make my money back in the first 2 months, but I think in my first 6 months I made my money back, and the proof was in the pudding. You know, the clients are willing to spend on it. Why would you say no for the clients?
Yeah. No, and I think I think you're right. One of the things actually very recently, a couple of weeks ago, we went out with a couple, that I shot their wedding. Because like you said, since I didn't shoot very many weddings, the couples that were kind of close, and even the people that were, not around, but I became very, very close to them. So, I still kind of keep up with them. They reach out and they send me pictures, and, they'll send me pictures of, hey, we still have ours, mounted on the wall. And recently, a couple of weeks ago, they were like, dude, we haven't taken pictures since our wedding. They've been married for 8 years, and they still have my images, up on their walls that they bought directly from me. And it does. It absolutely feels great. On my end, it didn't work because of the market that I was in and stuff like that,
Yeah.
whatever. But I completely I agree in that aspect, in the way that, when they're willing to display, when they're able to do that, I definitely pushes you more to that. So, all right, so we're going to get let's see if we have any, nope, Eric Kessler was the last one basically saying that, Karis, you need to speak. You need to speak a little bit louder or move the mic towards you. If you guys have any questions or anything, please, make sure you put them on the comments. If you can't do that, it's because you want to make sure that you're following us, and you'll be able to comment and stuff like that on that. So any questions that you guys have, for us as Gikoto or for our guests, please, make sure and put them out there for you. As of right now, we're about to knock the first bottle of Magenta out.
Shit.
Oh, you. Go.
So
I got you guys. It's okay. I got you. All right.
so
I'm glad because I said I was only doing
so we're
one.
good.
Is this 3 or 4? I don't remember.
You guys I will carry you.
That's 4. That's 4. That's the fourth one. No,
You're on the fourth
good.
one?
Yes.
I'm keeping up with you guys. So.
The 4.
4.
That's 4. Yeah, we're
Good
good.
job, guys. Yay, team.
So
Are you on the first one?
I feel all right, but
Two.
once I get up, I'm just gonna collapse.
we're gonna transition a little bit more. We're still gonna be talking about kind of like the state of the industry and stuff like that. But let's talk a little bit more on, let's say, for example, on conferences, trade shows. Because Ben, I really definitely want to talk about yours.
Sure.
That you put on, and also stuff that's kind of going on, as well as organizations that are kind of out there that are doing something else. Now, one thing that I want to talk about a little bit is with the state in the industry. Recently, Adobe put out kind of like an ad campaign, where it basically showed, their muscle, or they're trying to flex their muscle with their new AI, stuff. And basically their slogan that they had was, skip the photo shoot.
Oh, no.
which obviously us as photographers, us as we as Gikoto, we completely we're like no, yeah, no, man. I was like, for one, the talent cannot be replaced by AI. There's definitely a lot of things that can happen, and that will accent that talent that we are supporting, as a company. But out of all of the companies from PPA, WPPI, the only one that stood up and actually made an open letter, which was an awesome. If you have a guy, it's an organization who is probably the oldest one. They're older than WPPI, older than PPA, and I don't know if you guys have heard, but it's ASMP.
Sounds kind of familiar. Yes.
ASMP, yes, they were at Lens and Light actually.
Yeah,
as a matter of fact, their in-house lawyer who did a couple of courses at there. But so ASMP actually,
Sorry.
so it's ASMP is American Society of Media Photographers. They've had a great photographer that have been part of that organization. Everything from Harriet Cartier-Bresson, to big names that have been around in that industry. So they actually published an open letter directly to Adobe, basically saying no. I was like, we support the talent and everything. And if you guys have not read it, please go to the ASMP website. If you're not a member of ASMP, please, they have a lot of benefits, to have with everything. But anyways, the letter itself, basically, it was a scathing letter. It was an awesome, extremely well written letter. Basically denouncing that entire mentality of skipping the photo shoot when it came into it. With that, with the industry, with everything that's kind of going on, like, what do you guys see, with these bigger from WPPI, to imaging, which is put on by PPA? What do you guys see compared to like smaller? And Ben, you can attest to this, or you can have a little bit more experience on this because you actually have, your own that you're putting on. So I kind of want to hear from you guys on that aspect.
With AI or just in general?
Just like on the industry when it comes to trade shows, when it comes to to these situations, what do you guys see currently out there with these bigger organizations and trade shows that are going on compared to like smaller ones?
I'll start with a quick one. The big trade shows, you have access to the bigger names, so the rock star photographers that we all look up to and aspire to be. You have access to them. You can go up to them, talk to them. So that's always been a benefit, I feel like, of the bigger trade shows. What I feel like is undervalued is the networking at trade shows. Nowadays, we don't even go like with intentions of attending classes. We'll look at the schedule, and if we see something that's appealing, we'll go. But our goal at trade shows is to network, make relationships. I mean, that's how we met, right? So,
Correct.
That's how we met.
Right. So, some of our closest friends and relationships that we've made have been because we attended trade shows. I think not enough people are attending them anymore, and it's sad to see, being that we've been going for like 9-10 years now, and I hope it doesn't get to the point where they stop doing all these big trade shows, but I'm going to continue to support them as much as I can.
You think it's due to like social media? Like so much content out there for them,
For, like,
free
education?
content. Yeah.
It could be that too, and like cost.
It's cost prohibitive.
Yeah.
Right.
It's also the names too. I feel like some of the names in the industry are
Have it involved?
Yes,
It's the same name. It's the
Yes.
same names and faces
Yeah.
All the
for the
time.
last 20 years.
Like how many times am I gonna go see you do a keynote?
Yes.
The same keynote. So I feel like if these companies that are doing the trade shows are not pivoting as well and trying to modernize for the younger crowd, they're gonna get left behind as well.
yeah.
Same as us, like what we're talking about
yeah.
business. But I also can't stress enough how huge trade shows have been for our business. Like it's been amazing.
Yeah, I think the first few years we went to WPI was we stood to ourselves, education, learned that kind of helped kick off the business, learned a lot of things in the classes. As we've gone for the past like 8 years, it was more connecting with people
Yeah.
and having fun. It's kind of like our summer camp. We're just gonna get
Which,
away.
which,
And
which,
getaway.
which I think what was funny, for example, like we met,
Right.
and then we obviously we headed off, and for some reason you guys put up with me, but we we had a good relationship and
Yeah,
everything, and then before I knew it,
Here we
I
are.
was judging your
Yeah.
prints, and
That was the year that we met. You were very like friendly with the people that were watching the judging, and I remember I ran into you at the gallery,
yeah.
and you were like, "Did you submit anything?" And I was like, "Yeah, this is my print right here." And you kind of were like, "This is your print?" And I was like, "Yeah." And you were like, "Make sure you don't miss the award show or whatever." I was like, "All right, I'm gonna go." I was going anyway, But from then on, every conference we go to, we run into you. We have to come and say
Was
hello
that the year you
and
got the
support
grand
you.
prize?
Yeah,
What was
get
that?
prize.
No,
He didn't get the grand
we were
prize.
talking
Because of me.
He was second
because of me.
we were talking about in the car the controversy behind.
He got second
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I won first place in wedding.
In weddings, you did,
Yeah.
and,
But-
and
Wedding
absolutely,
PJ.
and that was
Yeah.
by far, and I remember the
Yeah.
piece and everything.
Yep.
On the and it was for the PJ competition, which this was something that I was completely against, to have PJ as a whole.
All together, yeah.
But it is what it is. I don't make the rules, but I do remember, in
You know,
that
the second
part of it,
place in the
so.
Lau House. The second place in the Lau House is first loser.
I got first. I got first place.
He won.
I got a trophy that says first place.
Stop it,
But,
jerk.
if it wasn't for us going to that conference and actually seeing
There
our
he
print,
goes.
seeing our print
go.
being judged,
Fifth or
we would not be here today. And
Yeah.
it's just crazy how things
What,
happen.
and this is kind of the thing that I wanted to impress upon people
Bracket
who
number 2.
were thinking about doing any conference, small one, big one. I was like, and I tell people, listen, you don't even have to come to my conference if you don't want to. Attend conferences in general, because the thing is, a lot of times when you are in your work, and maybe you've been doing it for a number of years, and then you get stuck, and you have this door in front of you that you can't open. Well, the thing is, when you go to these conferences, it's not so much what you learn in the classroom that's powerful. Sometimes the magic is happening at these coffee shops, at these parties, at these dinners, right?
Wait. Not once have I seen you at a coffee shop. All I've seen you is Central
Bar.
and,
The center bar.
and I was like, and every other bar that's out there. Not once have I ever seen Ben Lau. I was like, I'm gonna make it noted. Not once have I seen Ben Lau at a coffee shop. All right? Everything, every
That's
time that we have
facts.
come across, I was like, has had to do with some sort
Alcohol.
of liquor and alcohol.
Some sort of
involved.
cocktails.
But the power in these conferences, it's the people that you meet. You can't open these doors yourselves. You're going to meet someone who's going to help open that door for you.
I think also like the large conferences have their benefits, and the small conference also have their benefits, and people should support both as much as they can. If you have a small conference in your area, you should be attending.
Local.
So okay, let's talk that a little bit. We have two major in the photography industry that everybody kind of knows about. Two major that are similar yet dissimilar different in the same way, which is imaging, which is put on by PPA, Professional Photographers of America, and then you have WPPI.
Right.
Again, there's similarities and there's differences between both of them.
Right.
Okay. If and this is kind of just out of the whim. If you were to choose one of the two, I know which ones I've seen you at most at. And this does not mean that one's better than the other. Absolutely not. It's just I want to know your takes of why you choose to go one over the other one. And two, what would you want to see in a new one? Or something that it becomes. So
Melina, do you want to go first? Or
Yeah,
you want-
I'll go first. So
So eager to go. That question
We're
meant
very
Right.
passionate
You go-
about our
you go
favorite.
because we are wedding photographers, we will always be at WPPI because it's geared towards us. Right?
okay. Which makes sense. Absolutely.
Right. What I want to see more of, and which WPPI is starting to do, thanks to you, is they're diversifying or attempting to diversify to show more people like me and Jen. Right. I feel like
When you say like you and Jen, right?
the
What do you
Latino,
mean?
the
Okay.
Latino, Hispanic,
And Filipino.
community.
Yeah. Okay. So racially different.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
More
I would
diversity.
love to see more Hispanics be ambassadors, and Gikoto is one of the few companies that stands behind that diversity, right?
And Aftershoot, shout out
And
to
that was
Aftershoot.
not paid.
Right.
Yeah.
It was organic.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm being honest, and which is why we support you. But
Well, Gikoto.
Right, wait.
I'm just a face.
right, yeah.
You're just
Yeah,
a face.
That's
I'm
what
just
I
a
meant.
face.
That's what I meant. But I feel like us as a Latino community are not doing enough. Or like we're not doing enough, and we're guilty of it too. We've been like laying low, and I feel like now is the time for us to start to show more support in that aspect. And WPPI is one of the few that's actually attempting to do that.
Okay.
So we'll stand behind that for as long as we can. Like WPPI has been amazing for us. Like for me, it growing my work through the competition and making the relationships. So for us being wedding photographers, WPPI is like a must.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
How about Laos?
I've only been
Nope.
what? I've only been to maybe 2 PPAs,
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 imagings,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well, that's
And I
enough.
had a
That's
great
enough to
time.
judge it. That's enough
And,
to.
and I had a great time. In fact, some of the most meaningful relationships that I've made in my career have been at those events, right?
With alcohols.
Yeah.
There's always
At Central
alcohol involved. There's no Central Bar in
There was a
Nashville
central bar. There was a central bar.
or Louisville. But actually, you know what? In Louisville,
There was a bar.
Yeah.
I went day drinking at like 2:00. I had like a whole flight
Oh
of
my
bourbon.
God. Yep, bourbon.
I was
Yeah,
knocked out for
we,
all day.
We were with
we
you.
were with you.
We were like, oh,
doesn't
remember
remember
that's
that
when
one.
I met you that evening.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah.
Remember that evening? Was that your
remember-
first time meeting me?
That was the first time I'd met you
Formally,
before,
yeah.
but that was the first time that I met you. Yeah. He's like,
I don't remember.
"Sure.
I don't remember meeting you.
I met you at Lens and Light.
But for sentimental reasons, WPPI has always been very special to us. That's how we met the Molinas. A lot of our friends attend that. And they attend imaging too as well, but a lot of our friends attend WPPI, and that's part of the reason why we go, and just to kind of nurture those relationships that we have with the vendors, with our fellow colleagues, and Vegas is fun. Vegas is a lot of fun.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things. So WPPI is it's always held in Vegas. Imaging, which is by PPA, kind of travels around. They go to most of the Gaylords. So they do DC, they do Nashville. Next year, you guys better be here
be in
because
Dallas.
it's
We'll be
going to
in
be here
Dallas.
because
We'll
it's
be in
actually going to be
Dallas. We'll be
here in the DFW area. It's actually going to be 15 minutes from us. So we have some great stuff planned out for when that comes. So stay tuned. We're gonna
have
we'll
a
let you guys
barbecue
know.
meetup. We're gonna have a barbecue
Where,
meetup.
there's gonna be some cool stuff, man.
Is it gonna be
Cool stuff.
spanking?
There's no spanking. No spanking here. What he's referring to is that in Vegas every year, I was like, we have our dinners over at Halfbrow, and you get paddled. So that's
I
what
did it
he's
just for
referring
you.
to.
I showed up just to get paddled.
You did.
I didn't even get the meal. I just came to get paddled.
So there you go. So next year is going to be here local, and we'll be announcing some stuff that's going to be happening during that time. So those are the big difference. So
But yeah, I mean, I love both conferences, because my friends are there. But WPPI is just from a sentimental standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's if we had to if we only had the budget and the time to do one,
Yeah.
that would be the one.
Yeah. And I think I'm waiting for the local ones to come back too.
do you,
We'll see
do
what
you
happens
think,
with like
do
the
you
have a
think
local one.
between
No, like a big one.
and going back to what you were saying,
Javits.
do you think WPPI is more diverse
Yes.
than imaging?
It is now.
Yeah.
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 Oh
yeah.
yeah. For sure. Yeah.
Because I think WPPI attracts a lot of international photographers as well.
I'm just looking
And-
at kind of like most of the time like the speaker lineup. I mean, even just the people behind the organization. Like
Yep.
you can, Feels more.
There's
But I
more.
do-
There's more.
There's just more.
Yeah, there's way more, at least for photographers.
Yeah.
But listen, every conference has a thing that it offers that makes it unique to that conference and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like you should try to attend as many conferences as you can.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I agree. And I think the more just like I was talking about diversifying, I think you yourself should diversify when it comes to these. You know, attend imaging, attend WPPI, attend your local conferences.
I do know that
We go
because
to everything. We're like conference heads.
I know you are. But like we've been trying to get our associates to go to these conferences for the longest time. But you know, sometimes it's not just only cost prohibitive, but time prohibitive too.
Correct.
You know,
Yeah.
because not everyone has. You know, you guys have a lot more flexible than a lot of other folks. You know, and then we also have kids that we got to worry about.
Correct.
You know,
But we have
we have live-in.
my parents live with us, so
Okay.
we could, you know,
Which is
we have
fantastic,
easier
yeah.
for us to,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, my parents live a block from us, so I
Yeah.
can definitely
Yeah,
relate
you
to
do all
that.
that stuff,
easier,
right? So,
yeah.
like, you know, a lot of our associates are not so lucky, and also a lot of our associates have like 9 to 5s as well.
Yeah.
So they can't just take a couple of days off just to go.
Yeah. Okay, now that we've kind of discussed this, I definitely want to talk about your spend.
Okay.
Okay, I do, because I think, you know, when individuals like that go out on a limb and do something for the community, because this is part of the industry, this is
Right.
part of, and I'll be honest with you, I don't think a lot of these small conferences are making money. And you can
I didn't make any money.
exactly, and you can definitely
They're not
attest to
doing
it.
it for money.
Yeah, and you can definitely attest to this. So one, I want to know, one, I'm speaking strictly as Gikoto, as a vendor.
Sure.
What can we do to support these small trade shows, you know, conferences and stuff like that, you know, that definitely are not making money? Number one. Number two, you're definitely doing it for the passion.
Yeah.
It's a passion.
Yeah,
It's
of
a
labor of
everything,
love.
because I can definitely,
Oh
I can
my
definitely,
gosh.
I can definitely do. And number three, you know, what motivates you to put this stuff on? And you know, and please, I want you to name drop. I want you to.
I'll name drop.
So
All right, let's
absolutely. So
go.
put this thing on right here.
All right. So so we have attended WPPI in the past. We've attended PPA was a new thing, but we've also attended smaller workshops, and there, you know, in where our market, New York City, Northern New Jersey, right? I mean, there is a big one but they're not doing it as much anymore. I think it was the B&H. They do the Build Expo.
That was the first you're doing. Is the Photo Plus. that
It was
hasn't been around
Photo
for
Plus,
years.
They haven't done that in a while,
PDN.
right?
Yeah.
But
It
even
stopped
Yeah.
after.
and that was a huge one, right? But the thing is,
Which is actually going back to it, you know, and I would definitely chastise them for this. Was actually put on also by Emerald, which owns WPPI.
Yeah.
You know,
they just pulled out of
and
that.
they absolutely just
Yeah.
kind of they dropped the ball.
They scrapped
They
it.
dropped the ball in a lot of different things.
I don't,
so
I don't know
would
the behind
definitely
the
tell
scenes
them
with that kind of
So,
stuff,
yeah.
right? So I know I understood my market, Northern New Jersey, with my colleagues and stuff. There weren't any kind of educational opportunities for them aside from maybe smaller workshops from individual photographers, and they're great. You learn a lot of stuff, but what I also knew was that, you know, speaking to other photographers, they don't have the resources, they don't have the time, they don't have any means to go to WPPIs for a couple of days or a PPA for a couple of days, right? And not only that, those tend to be really huge. You know, you go to these, there's several thousand people showing up to these things, right? For someone who might be introverted, a little bit more introverted, they don't know anyone, it's kind of new and unfamiliar, it's a little overwhelming for them.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
very.
So over the past couple of years before COVID, we were also traveling abroad, right? We went to other conferences overseas. Photo F is one of them. Way up north is another one, right? So like these are a lot smaller. We're talking about maybe a couple hundred people max, right? Because that's all the auditorium will hold, right? And we got to meet some amazing people. One of them who's a guest at one of our newer episodes coming up. Fabio Miglio from Italy, right? We met so many incredible friends. And a lot of the superstars that we look up to, right? Like, they were so accessible. We got to hang out with them because it was a much smaller affair, right? So I was like, you know what?
The energy was like.
It was very different.
So, like, it was like fire on stage of like just people, and it was like so warm and just inclusive. Just
Right.
the whole
Otherwise,
vibe.
and this is not to poo-poo on WPPI and PPA. They put on great presentations too. It's great speakers. But the thing is, it's
Massive.
It's,
Yeah, it's
it's
just
bigger.
massive.
it's a lecture.
Yeah.
It's like a lecture
Yeah,
style
so
type
it's
of thing.
intimidating for a lot of new people.
That was our first few years.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in a lecture hall with 200 other people, 300 other people. It's very hard for you to connect with that person, right? But we fell in love with that format. Like, all right, a smaller, more intimate group where we get to kind of connect with the speakers, get to connect with others and stuff. It's not so overwhelming. So I was like, you know what? Why can't we have that in our own backyard? Why do we have to go to Vegas or go somewhere else?
Washington or
Whatever it is, right? Number one, why do we have to go so far? And number two, why does it have to be so big? So, why don't we have something a little bit more intimate, something that was a little bit more accessible, and why can't we have that in our own backyard? So we found the perfect venue for it, and so that was the first one. Make it smaller, make it more intimate, make it more local, right? Because this is something that I know that our local market could certainly appreciate. And then the other one was I wanted to give a platform to folks who were maybe potentially trying to get into education, but they didn't have access to
Bigger stages.
bigger stages and stuff, right? They certainly have value that they could offer to an audience, right? But I didn't want that big stage to be that validation for them.
Right.
I wanted them to have, because certainly they have something worthwhile to share with our colleagues. So we started the podcast and the summit on the same week
On the site visit.
No.
During the site visit.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is happening. No, we started. We had this conversation at PPA.
Oh, we did. Yeah,
We had
right.
multiple conversations.
We had
multiple
about the
conversations.
But
podcast,
the time that we actually sat down and said we're going to do it was the day that we went to see the venue for the summit.
Yep.
Yeah. So just I know it's sometimes a little bit confusing because we share the same graphic designer. So like a lot of the logos look the same. But the Focus AF Summit and the Focus AF podcast, they are separate. The Focus AF Summit is just run by me and my wife, and the summit is the summit is just the two of us.
We're the behind the scenes committee. So we hear the struggles.
Strong supporters.
Silent board members.
Yeah, they're like the part of our board. But the thing is, it's the summit is just really me and my wife. It's just a 2-person team and our VA, and I would have been happy with just maybe, if we can help one person. Obviously, one person, I'll be really deep in debt if I just had one person show up to this thing, right? But if I could help whoever I can help at this summit, I was okay with that.
So do you currently have a date for the next
not
one?
Yet.
Okay.
Because the thing is, I want to make sure I get all the pieces together. I want to do it right because I learned a lot of lessons from the first one.
Okay.
I had no illusion that I was going to knock it out of the park for the first one.
Okay.
Okay. I knew that there was going to be a learning process, and I wouldn't say mistakes, but a lot of opportunities to make things better for the next one. I'll be fully transparent. Let me see. The first one was that I tried to put in too much value into in one day. Because the thing is, listen, I'm paying for everything out of my own pocket. You know what I mean? I'm not relying on sponsorships or anything like that to pay for the bill. So like I had to pay for everything myself. So I could only afford one day's rent for this place.
We did a lot in a day.
So I was like, all right, well,
long
I
day.
don't think anyone's gonna pay for 4 speakers or 5 speakers, right? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to put
10, right? It was
11,
10.
I think, right? There were 11 speakers in one day, and they were back to back to back to back to back.
We started at 8 a.m. We left at like
6, 7.
o'clock.
Yeah.
And we left, and then the after party. So we didn't leave till like 10 o'clock. It was like a 14-hour day.
It was a long ass day, and then so that was number one. Like the next one is going to be multi-day, at least 3 days. Okay. So we'll have 2 days of lectures and then like a master class.
All right. So I'm gonna put you on the spot right now.
Sure.
When you have the dates or whatever, can we help announce it? Because
Yes,
obviously,
I would love that.
Like I said, as Gikoto, we want to make sure that we support stuff like this.
Okay.
Homegrown stuff. So I'm partially saying right now that we are going to help as much as we can for the Focus AF Summit on the next
I'll
one.
tell you one thing we were lacking.
So-
Lighting?
Is lighting.
All right.
There we go.
All right. Let me tell. All right.
We were all
Let me tell you what happened.
Holy shit.
So let me tell you what happened, right? So we were. I'll keep up. Hold on.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Can you stop it?
So
Stop it.
is that 5?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's 5.
That's fine.
We're good. All right. So the original plans,
Sip it.
the original that was a sip. So the original
It was a
plan
long sip.
Yeah.
was a very long one.
Oh.
So the original plan.
Hospital run, I go to the bathroom.
Can I finish? So the original plan was we were going to have an auditorium because, like an auditorium style format. Boda F was kind of like that.
Correct.
We have
And you're talking about Boda F in Spain.
correct.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay.
And it was like a lecture format, so everyone goes understand whatever. So anyway, we rented the auditorium originally at the venue that we had our event, and a month before showtime. A month before showtime, they were like, "Oh, Ben, that room is under renovations. You're the only event that we have planned for that month, so we are going to kick you off to another room." And that room was basically a concrete, kind of like a bunker type of. It was a very pretty bunker,
Yeah.
right?
It was like a regular room.
But it was a regular room, and it was surrounded by concrete.
Wait, I'm sorry. I still had on.
What happened? Do you have chats? Do you have
No,
comments?
so we have Nightbot that basically monitors our things, and Moses just got used as a spammer. Just got flagged as a spammer.
Moses got like
Moses got Moses Cruz.
What did you do?
It's amazing.
So I don't know. It got deleted.
Moses got deleted.
So yeah.
Moses, what did you do?
Moses, what did you say? What did you do?
Did they kick him out?
Wait, do they kick people out?
It probably just blocks it. It probably just
So-
censors it. Yeah.
Anyway, going on.
Continue. Yes.
So moving along. That was another lesson that we learned. Actually, there's no lesson. You just have to roll with it, right? It was about the lighting,
lighting.
right? So the concrete bunker. Originally, the auditorium would have theater lights,
Correct.
set up, right? But we
With
didn't
a
have the theater.
stage.
We didn't have a theater anymore, so we were just on the stage with a makeshift screen for our
Projector.
presentations and
It
stuff.
was
It was black. It was so dark in there.
It was so because the thing is, here's the thing: you got to think about it, right? So if there's ambient light, you can't see the screen because the screen you need the projector to show, right? So if you darken the room, now you can't see the speaker. You can only see the screen, but you can't see the speaker, right? So it was like a complete shit show. It was a complete
No,
shit
the
show.
lights.
But
the
the-
only
he-
lights that he had, he used it for the vendor tables. to
So
light it up.
so here's the one thing. Like I said, especially with smaller, trade shows, conferences, like this, is that they don't have one budget.
The resources, right?
And and number two, resources to be able to do some of these things. So a lot of these times when you do go to smaller trade shows and stuff like that, you have to be patient, especially if you go to the first or second. Trust me, as a company, we try to be as patient as possible when it comes to that. It just comes to a point at one time where the patience kind of does run out. However, but we love supporting, smaller, as yourself, because it's a major risk that they're taking, and stuff like that. So, hopefully, again,
Yeah.
I'm committed to
Thank you.
making sure that stuff like this doesn't happen anymore, especially for smaller trade shows. And stuff like that, and anything that we can do for the industry, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
That's I take my role very seriously. I no longer shoot, from before I'm retired from weddings and stuff like that, because I want to make sure that I create, and that this company goes in the way that I wish I was supported,
Right.
at
We
that
appreciate
time.
that
So,
so much.
Yeah, I think the other thing that you learned, or that in the process, that was like an improvement on the lineup and like stretching it out like you did. But what people loved about it was the networking, the connection. There were people that came out to the summit that we hadn't seen in years and hadn't really gone out to be with other photographers. And by the end of the night, I mean, some people were still with us till the last minute of the night, or even longer after we left. They stood hanging out, like they were just.
Bar.
They were like, we haven't really hung out with anybody in a long time, and it's so good to network with each other. Are you guys gonna do a hangout or meet up again or something so that we can all get together? Which is something I think that everyone was missing for a really long time. So even like that portion of it was,
And I
was
think-
really important.
And I understood it as a first-time conference. There was some hesitancy from some of the vendors. They didn't really know what I was doing. They don't. Who the hell's Ben Lau, right? So my thing. I'm not drunk. So. So.
Don't throw up at me.
Is that? I think it's number 6, right?
keep facing that way.
I'm still number 1.
Yeah.
Are
Are
you?
you serious?
Yes.
Yeah, we're number 6.
I don't know. 5.
The men are
6,
at number
I don't
6.
remember.
I'm
So-
almost done with my number 2.
Yeah. So now that we have a proof of concept, I think it's a
What part
little
you gonna
easier
finish
to
this?
market to,
Yeah.
to vendors. You know, I was very grateful for the vendors that we did have come on board. I'm gonna give them all a shout out right now. Okay. So because you know they deserve a shout out for trusting
Absolutely,
me.
please.
So Imagine AI for trusting me and for supporting me on my journey, on our journey, on what we're trying to
Which
do here.
Imagine AI does a lot of
Calling
AI editing.
Yeah, calling and editing.
Correct.
We want to support also Renaissance albums. We've been using them forever. Well, let's talk about the title sponsors first, and then we'll talk about all the other supporting sponsors as well. All right? Because I got to make sure I got to cover all of them. I got in trouble last time.
Hurry up.
All right, Renaissance, Melanie from State Farm. We got to make sure we give her a shout out as well.
She's amazing.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she's
Yep.
amazing. She's taking care of everyone.
Yep.
We also have Unique Photo, which is a local camera shop.
Okay.
Right. We also have.
And where's the camera shop at?
It's in Fairfield, New Jersey.
Okay.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Well, that's their main location. They have another one in Hoboken, but
Okay.
No, that one's closed down. They have a Philly. I think,
it's a
right?
Philly now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You got it. So, and then of course.
After shoot.
Wait. I didn't finish my title sponsors.
Title
yet.
sponsors.
Asset.
Oh, I don't know the ranking. I just know the
Shout out
people.
to Asset.
Asada Asset. They were our
Yes.
title sponsor, and that's our IPS team.
Album.
Okay.
Asset, yep.
Right.
Okay.
And then we also have supporting our supporting sponsors. Aftershoot is one. Miller's is another one. Social Templates is another one.
Pick time.
Pick Time was another one. So these are all
Fundy.
Yes, and Fundy as well. Did I miss anyone?
No, you're good.
Oh no. Nathan's.
Oh, Shoot With Me and Storybook. Right. Yeah. Well, Geek Coder's going to be on board next
Yeah,
year.
you are. Yeah, no, absolutely. We weren't there because honestly,
Where
I
were
was
you?
like,
No,
I
well,
was like, we didn't. I
They didn't know
did
about
not
it. You don't know about it.
We
I
honestly
know,
didn't.
I
Didn't know about
But
it.
in any case, like now
but
that I
it-
have, people seen what we've done with it, I think
Yeah.
people. I understand. Peace of mind is very important with vendor relationships with the attendees who attend these things. They want peace of mind. They want to know what they're going to get in return for their investment of
course, of
time,
course.
effort, and money to come to these things. Okay. So they've seen the videos, they've seen the reels, they've seen the highlights of this thing, and they're like, okay, we're going to go for the next one. And I know how I'm going to make the next one better. The next one's going to have multiple days, multiple speakers, but we're not going to make you guys sit through
15
15 hours of presentations.
15
I'm going to have more breaks. I don't think I can afford lunch for all of you. That was one of the feedback things that I got.
breakfast?
No.
Really?
I gave breakfast to everyone.
Lunch. How about lunch?
No other conference gives.
Somebody,
me.
no. Lens and Light gave lunch to everyone, right? But I was like, damn it, Christopher Styles, why did you give lunch to everyone? But anyway,
Okay, well, so I'm going. Yes,
strong, very
but
strong.
here's the thing. Also, when you put it, I was like, when you make it very hard for individuals to get there, I was like, he was in Mystic, Connecticut. Nobody wants to go to Mystic, Connecticut.
nobody wants to go to New Jersey.
Okay, but here is the thing. Like, when I have to
York's
take,
right there.
when I have to take 15 different flights to get there and 3 Ubers,
Yeah.
it's it's a little bit
Yeah.
hard.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So the one thing, so
appealing.
now I'm gonna switch it a little bit. And I'm gonna go more as a vendor.
Sure.
When it comes to it, I was like, the one thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that we make this as easy as possible to the individuals that attend.
Right.
Okay.
That's key.
That is the number one thing. I am 100%, as Gikoto, as a company, the one thing that we want to do is we want to make things easier for everyone.
Right.
And I know you can relate to that aspect as well. So when you put these smaller conferences in places that are hard to get for most people, it's going to make it very difficult, not only for vendors, but also for individuals to attend.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You know?
Of course. Yep.
So
Well, maybe it's for locals. The one that does,
and that's fine. And when it comes to the locals type stuff, I completely understand with that. But also, then you should only invite local
Locals.
businesses.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Does that make sense? Because I'm 100% in supporting local businesses. We've done that. We want to make sure that we support small camera mom and pop shops because these big conglomerates, I'm not to call anybody out, but B&H, Amazon, and everything else have definitely put a vague strain on these smaller, shops.
these mom and pop shops.
I mean, 20 years ago, you were talking about, hundreds and hundreds of smaller stores that were able to do this. Now, there's a couple of, if maybe last time that I checked, we're probably like 180 stores across the U.S. that were actually personally owned. You know, so there's not very many of them left.
Yeah.
So definitely, that's one thing that we as a company, we want to focus in helping these local stores to do. Right. But also when it comes to local, you know, trade shows and stuff like that, absolutely, you know, do that, but make it easier for everyone
To get there, right?
to get there.
Yeah. Did we have any out-of-towners speak? We had Sam
somebody,
Hurd.
Sam
Sam Hurd from Baltimore,
Sam
Ken
Ken,
Ken
yep.
Pack from DC.
Yeah.
Do you have any out-of-towners?
I think whoever
That's
came
it. And then
furthest
Long
was
Island,
Hedrick Moy. He drove up from like
Hudson Valley. He was like
yeah.
2 hours away. We had some folks coming in like from far away to come to this thing, and I was like, wow, thank
Long
you.
Island and New York, yep, upstate.
And honestly, that goes a long ways. You know, when you realize that these people that are coming and supporting these things, and this goes in any part of the industry, you know, whether they're your employee, whether they're, you know, a vendor, whether there's somebody that a thank you goes a very long way. So make sure that I think that's something that is very, you know, it's missing within our not only our industry but just humanity itself.
Yeah.
You know, the basic thank you has really kind of gone by the wayside, and it's something that it needs to come back.
Right.
It really genuinely needs to come back. So, now that we're here, we're on. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on our sixth one.
6-1.
shit.
Yeah.
Congrats,
Salute.
guys.
I was
So
like, so,
proud
uh,
of you.
Keep it up.
So proud of you.
Oh, Jen's
Jen,
done.
she's done.
So-
good.
She's done.
So we're Jen, please
Jen.
Yeah.
bring your glass.
There's no such thing as an empty
Bring
glass.
your glass in.
Stop right there. Thank you.
And Karis is on
Karis
our
on
third
third.
one.
I'm surprised that I'm not drinking
Fantastic.
Karis.
Fantastic. Very, very proud.
Karis is usually
Guys, if you guys have absolutely
you're
any
good at
questions or
sipping.
anything, please let us
Was
know
Moses
here in
allowed
the
back?
comments or whatever. Moses is allowed back. Apparently, he typed in all caps. And, and here it is. You know, we are kind of modernized. You know, we also using AI. So, you know, our AI.
What was it? I want to know what he
chatbot
was typing in all caps.
boss, you know, kind of, you know, caught it and that. So stop screaming at us. Because I have some very interesting images that we saw earlier. So please, but guys, if you guys have any
I don't know what he's
questions or
talking
anything, please let us know in your comments, and we'll get to those very, very, very soon.
What happened?
Okay, guys. So with this, you know, we've been talking a little bit. We talked about, you know, I talked earlier about, you know, like ASMP, you know, which you guys were not very familiar with, and I'm going to talk a little bit about ASMP because that's actually an organization that we've personally been working with recently, and they have a lot of stuff. They're one of the very few. Like I said, they took a stand against Adobe, which is something that nobody else, you know, which I was hoping that PPA, I was hoping that PPI would kind of do, but nobody actually did. We actually wrote a letter, but we're not as big as ASMP, but ASMP did, and they got picked up, and they did. They stood up for the industry because they truly do represent, you know, their following, which is photographers. So please, I really do urge you to go to you know, just kind of Google up and put ASMP Adobe open letter, and read this letter. It was absolutely fantastic. They definitely stand up for you as a creator, as a photographer, as part of the industry. And this is somebody that I'm, you know, me personally, as a photographer, I'm 100% behind. Gikoto as a company, we're 100% behind them. And they've got some great stuff coming up that I'm very, very excited. You know, that very soon I'm sure they will listen, and you guys, you know,
Yeah,
will be very interested on that. So again, ASMP, it's an organization that is doing and has been doing things extremely good for our industry for a very, very long time. And I don't think they've gotten the recognition that they deserve for many, many years on that. With that, with everything that we have kind of said, do you guys have any extra questions about kind of with the state of the industry and where we're at right now, or should we move on to the next one?
I think we can move
Yeah, I
on,
think
right?
we can move on.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Awesome. So, okay. So, with everything that you have, and you know, we were talking earlier, we were making fun of Dani for using Nikon and stuff. So,
Who are we making fun of?
Daniela Aguilar.
Donnie.
We're Nikon shooters.
Yeah.
We're actually all
I'm
four of us
sorry.
are Nikon
Yeah,
shooters.
we're all
Using a
Nikon
D700.
shooters.
I'm sorry.
But I love. Listen,
I'm kidding. Listen, Linda. Listen.
hey, Linda.
So here's one thing. Do you guys let's talk a little bit. Let's talk about gear. You know, what is the, you know, you kind of like your go-to gear? What are the things that you are using, you know, to create the stuff that you're doing? What tips do you have? Because obviously when you start, I know I had it. I don't know if you guys did, but it was kind of, you know, that gear acquisition syndrome.
Yeah.
You know, gas that we all kind of have. When like, oh, we have to have the biggest and
Oh,
the
I
latest.
didn't know there was an
and the
acronym
biggest.
for that.
What?
Gas.
Gas.
What's gas?
Gear
acquisition
syndrome.
Oh.
Really?
I don't have that.
See, I'm
You
old.
have a lot of- you have a lot of
I
gas.
don't. I don't.
So
Speak for
So
yourself.
as the non-gearhead, I'll answer first because
Speak for yourself with your
I-
meta glasses.
okay, so I'm a businesswoman first, I would like to say, and not really a shooter. So actually, I was watching your live with Esteban yesterday to kind of see how this goes, and you guys were making fun of the lens that I use the entire wedding day.
What?
When was that?
The 24 to 70.
I don't use
So
a 24/70.
that's about
You don't
it.
have it.
And my phone, because I do more of like the content creation with my phone
Mm-hmm.
and the Ray-Ban Meta glasses, but that's me, the lazy shooter. So you guys can answer this one.
There's so many routes to go in. We are Nikon shooters. Have always been Nikon
I did
shooters.
cheat on Nikon for about 18 months.
He
With
went Sony.
Sony for about 18 months when I came back.
How dare you? That was the dark age.
Everything was green.
Dark was blue. And
Are we losing sponsors?
I was like, this goes to Sony. We're gonna have Sony on here very often. As a matter of fact, I'll like both of our cameras that we're using right now are
They are Sony.
Our Sony cameras.
I noticed.
Our Sony cameras. I was like,
I don't know how Esteban was here.
but we also want to be fully transparent.
I'll tell you what happened, okay? I'll tell you what happened.
You had to put it out there.
I'll tell you the story, okay? So
Keep it short.
Again?
Please.
I don't know how long.
20
this story-
seconds or less.
I don't know how long this story is going to be, right? So I've been shooting Nikon for most of my career. It all started back in 1999. I'm kidding. So I've been shooting Nikon for most of my career, and then all three brands, Sony, Canon, and Nikon, they were coming out with their mirrorless. But Sony had been in that space for the longest amount of time. And the thing is, we have our travel cameras. These are not our work cameras. These are the small little cameras that we bring out to our travels and stuff. And for one of the, I was second shooting for somebody, and I was like, I don't want to carry all my Nikon stuff, so I'm just going to carry my. I had two Sonys, and I brought that out. I was like, this is a lot of fun shooting mirrorless and stuff. This is my first kind of foray into shooting mirrorless, and I was like, this is a lot of fun. I can be discreet, and Nikon had something, but it wasn't necessarily. I think it
wasn't dual cards.
It wasn't dual cards. It was the Z5, I think, or Z6.
Z6 That was Z6-1.
Yeah, the first Z6, yep.
Anyway, it was still in the early stages and stuff. I was like, all right,
And not enough lenses.
not a lot of lenses, right? So I was
Yep.
like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna try shooting a couple weddings with this A7 IIIs, right? And I loved it. I was like, smaller body, smaller. Well, the lenses were about the same size, right? But like, it's just smaller overall. It was a lot of fun, and so I stuck with that for about a year and a half. And I was waiting for the A9 III to come out, and it didn't come out before the
Nikon
Z8.
Z8.
The Z8 came first. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm coming
So
back to Nikon.
she back.
So after the Z8 came out, I was back to Nikon. Yeah. So thankfully, I didn't
You're
invest.
welcome. Welcome back.
So I didn't invest too much into the Sony system. But listen, the Sony system served me well for about a year and a half. But I'm back on Team Nikon. But that being said, do I have a story? Do I have to?
No more stories.
Oh my
you don't
God.
have
He wants to
anything.
know about
That's
your
it,
gear.
that's
Go
it,
back to
that's
row.
We're talking about row. We're talking about gear, right?
What's your favorite piece of gear?
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna go with. My favorite lens, Nikon Z 51.2.
You have a 51.2?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that camera cannot leave. I mean, that lens cannot leave my camera. That's what I shoot maybe 80% of the wedding day.
I cannot agree more. Oh my God. Love it.
For lighting,
It's so huge, it's
obviously,
heavy.
Me and Jen mainly shoot available light, but if I do portraits, I do use LEDs, which is I believe is the NC, right? 60.
Correct.
All right, Gikoto NC60 is my go-to with a small 24 octabox. We try to keep everything minimal, even though I do bring a lot of gear for the day. That's typically what I shoot with most of the day.
Videographer made fun of us.
Yeah.
He was like,
For
why
what?
do you have more gear than me right
Yeah,
now?
that's bad.
I used to carry a lot of gear. Now I'm
We
down
don't
to 2 bags.
need it.
For our podcast setup, we use two of those, and 60 watts.
I
with
bought
two
those when I
strip
met you for the
boxes.
first time.
You did. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Give me
So-
2 of those right there. I'll take 2 of those.
Yes, I do remember.
Sold.
I was like, and thankfully now we're actually designing stuff for podcasts and content creators and gamers. So, just
Yeah.
in case you guys didn't know, and you guys are interested in that, you can go down to our to the website and you'll.
And
be
if
able
you
to
want to
find
see what the lights look like, you can check out our podcast. It's soon to be on YouTube, but it's on Spotify. It's all video format now, and you can see what those lights look like on your favorite podcast co-hosts.
Absolutely, please.
They're lit better
Those
than
are
us.
those are Gikoto. Those are Gikoto lights right there. Okay. As far as my favorite piece of equipment, it's a little embarrassing, but because the thing is, I need to content create while I'm shooting photos, right? So I have a small rig cage
Right.
that goes around my Z8,
Yeah.
and I put all kinds of shit on it, like my flash and my GoPro.
It's
and
so
my,
heavy.
it's like a tank.
He's like, do you want it? I'm like, I cannot afford to have any more weight on my gears. I have because I have 50 and I have like 85.2. I'm like, and with the flash, I'm maxed out here.
This guy looks like he's going scuba diving. Like,
I got a
Yes,
big ass.
yes.
It's like my
And
rig.
he
is
has,
this
he has a
big.
GoPro on there. He has a flash on there. And he has I don't know what else he has. Oh my gosh.
what the hell?
This thing's a tank when you guys see me work. And so I'm trying to do like shutter drags and stuff with this like 20 pounds of equipment and stuff.
Yeah.
You're gonna drop your camera on somebody's head.
I'm going to hurt somebody.
You're gonna get carpal tunnel.
Yes.
No, well, I'm doing 2 hands.
Arthritis.
I'm doing 2
Even
hands.
2 hands.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's my favorite piece of new equipment right now. It's my small rig. I put all kinds of shit on it. So, yeah. We can curse on this thing, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Get the Ray-Ban Metas and you won't have to carry all of that.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Oh, but you
He's-
need actual glass. Well, you can get them with prescription.
He's thinking about it.
I thought about it, but I generally don't buy the V1 of anything.
I don't think it's V1. I think it's V2.
Why are you trying to get me to buy stuff? The Melinas are always trying to get me to buy shit.
Sorry.
So let's talk a little bit about gear like that, stuff that you use outside of Canon, Nikon, Sony,
Sure.
A couple things.
anything stuff like that. You're talking a lot about like Ray-Ban did a collaboration with Facebook or Meta, now where you can actually use the glasses to do content creation,
Yes.
and basically it gives your perspective of what's going on. Not only that, but they also talk, you can listen
You
to
can talk to
music,
it.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You can
Listen to
listen to
music.
music and
Yeah.
everything
Plays
else.
music?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it
can make phone calls.
and it does,
You
and
can
it,
say
it
play
does,
music.
it does bone conduction, right? That's like it doesn't have an earpiece.
No.
It has
So-
a speaker
It's like a
on
little
the,
speaker on the glasses.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
You can play
So you have
music. You can talk to it.
So you use this for your content creation during weddings
Weddings and
or
shoots,
yeah?
Weddings
Okay,
and
cool.
shoots.
So
But I
talk
used
a little bit
to-
more about that.
we used to just walk around with our phone, which would be fine, but like I would forget to kind of take out my phone, or you don't want to be like all day while you're supposed to be shooting with a phone.
Or you can have a small rig with a GoPro on top.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
But
So-
there's also you have to that thing just records all day. You have to go through the footage. You have to clip it. The Ray-Ban Meta glasses, it records in 1 minute intervals.
Yeah.
So it's kind of easier to go back and find what you're looking for, which is great for
Even
Instagram.
Social
when
media.
when you are
$300
recording.
bucks?
Yeah.
Well, it depends because you can get it with transitions. You can put prescription in it. You can
Yeah.
get like
That drives the price
like
up
any
obviously
other
a little
glasses.
more.
So
yeah.
base
But-
price is 300.
I have a question.
yeah.
Even when you are
500.
just continuously recording, it just does
It
it 1
beeps.
minute.
It
Just
beeps
1
when
minute
it-
beep.
Yeah.
So you press record.
So about
it'll
500-600
record for up
bucks.
to a minute, and then it'll stop. Or
And
you can
then-
start it and stop it whenever you want within that minute.
Does that have like internal memory, or does it go into a cloud?
It
does
has
it go
like
directly
a-
to your
I don't know
to
the
your
tech
Facebook
behind it.
page?
High syncs to your phone. And
It
goes
does.
up.
It saves right to your camera roll, right?
No,
So
it
it's-
saves to the
The app.
the watch. Or the,
There's no way there's
the
memory in
glasses.
there.
I don't know. And then I go to the app and I put import.
All right,
and
no,
then-
it's
Oh,
going to your
meta-
phone. It's
meta
going to
so
your
it
phone
probably
to
has
the
like a
wire.
built-in storage.
Yeah, it's like
There's
it's
no
like,
way there's
it's
memory
like
in there.
GoPro. Yep.
Yeah,
It's
it's
crazy.
probably
I
going to
do
the
know
phone.
that
To the
it's
app.
very helpful and
Yeah.
useful.
If you would like to see how it looks like, you could check out our Instagram and see like our latest reels.
Yes.
Just to
At
get an
JR
idea.
Photo.
If
No,
anybody
just
wants
an
the
idea.
Insta 360,
What's your Instagram?
oh,
ahead.
JR Photo NY.
Okay.
And we are Ben Lau Photo and Hey Karis and Pearl Paper Studio and Focus.am
What's other
and
stuff?
Go Getting Creative.
Other stuff we
Okay, Ben's
use.
drunk.
We will do our best to put this. When it's finalized, we'll put this on.
If it goes
on the
out.
video.
Oh, it's
So-
live.
When we stop recording next tomorrow, when we
Like,
start
we'll,
recording.
we'll get the. We'll try to put all the links to it.
What
on
else
that.
do we use? The film
Outside of that,
camera?
we shoot film and we also we have a drone that we bring to every wedding.
So you were talking about earlier, and just now you brought up the film. Is there what type of film cameras are you using? Number one, number two, what type of film are you using?
So I wanted to start off the easy route. I feel like weddings are fast paced, so I didn't want to get anything mechanical to begin with. So I got a Nikon F100, which is pretty much like your modern. It looks like a modern day DSLR. It works with modern G lenses, which is amazing. So we started with that, and it has a built-in light meter. I just basically set it on whatever mode.
So you're cheating.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But as far as film goes, our favorite film, I would say, will have to be Portra 400. It's the most versatile.
Which is Kodak.
Yeah, Kodak Portra 400. Cinestill 400D, I believe it's called, is really nice. Has a very warm look to it, which is awesome.
Cine still has a
Yeah.
lot of colors.
Right. The only thing is that you get these, I think they're called halations. So if there's any flare, that color looks red in the image.
Indeed, yeah.
Some people love it. Some people hate it. To me, I'm like on the fence about it. But it's a real nice film. If you're shooting like golden hour, beautiful.
So in situations where you're shooting film, are you delivering negatives to your clients? Are you doing their scans and like digital scans to
Yeah.
them?
So
and
right
you're keeping the
now-
negatives. How are, and I think that's one of the questions that a lot of people that are trying to get into film or are how are you delivering these images?
Okay, so we did it last year. We were shooting film and not charging clients, right? So we were just delivering the scans, and I still have all the negatives at home in boxes, which I probably should have sent, but sometimes I wouldn't shoot a whole roll during that wedding. So there's other stuff in that roll. I would have to like cut it. So I never sent it to them. It didn't matter because they didn't pay me for it. After we spent the whole year shooting film, we started offering it a la carte and into our collections. Now, what we do is we're telling them we're going to shoot 3 to 4 rolls, and they will get the negatives once we get them processed.
Like
and
the
scanned.
final negative.
Yep. Once they mail those back, we're going to send it to the client.
Are you doing
They're
a
gonna
backup
keep those.
negative to keep yourself, or you
No,
giving them the original negative?
The backups for us would be the scan negatives, and the JPEGs that we get, we're going to deliver them as well, and also send the clients the negatives that we get back from the whoever processed the film. So it's helped us get clients to book our more top collections now that we added film. Part of that was seeing where the industry was going. A lot of people were asking about film. More people were seeing it on Instagram. Everyone was gravitating towards this, this vintage throwback look. So we decided to start offering it too to stay relevant as well. And it's been working for us. It's been amazing for us.
Yeah. And then for our IPS team, we'll have film specific products that they can buy on their sales meeting. So like if they had film in their collection, they can decide to purchase like actual prints in a box and things like that. So they have actual tangible from it.
So what one of the things that even you're offering this even with your second shooters, or is it because so these the Laos, they have 3 different companies, but they have so everyone that you so. I think I misunderstood on this one. The film, obviously you guys are shooting all of these films, themselves, and you're delivering, or they can purchase at additional cost the negatives.
No. So they're gonna get the negatives
regardless.
Yeah, regardless. Okay. But what we're offering them is something to do with the images themselves, because they're also getting the digital scans.
Okay.
So we don't want those scans to just sit in their hard drives either. So we are offering them a chance to purchase a print box, and they'll get all those film shots in the print box, as well as offering. I think we're offering like a album,
matted album kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a very custom album that's like matted, where it has like the actual prints into the album. So we're giving them a chance to also not only just pay for the film upgrade, but also buy something that will, I guess, preserve
The film.
Yeah. Which is the purpose of the film, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Back then, like, you developed it and you got prints. Yep. So if we're just giving them the scans and not offering them anything, then we're just back to just doing digital, right?
Digital, yeah. Okay.
Karis is shooting a lot of film.
I started, so I start. Oh,
We're good.
So with okay, so you're shooting film. Like I asked them, they're doing Portra. And
same thing. I've tried Portra 140, 400,
160.
160, 400, 800. 400 is good. So I actually bought a full manual Nikon FM2 about a year ago.
So you threw it into the bus.
with a 1.4 lens.
Yeah.
Beautiful camera, right? So I tried it. I developed 2 rolls, and everything was beautiful, perfect. And then Ben goes, "Oh, I want to shoot film too." Like, so I was like, okay. And then I recently also purchased a Context G2. So I was like, oh, since I have this Context G2, why don't you, here, test out my Nikon FM2. Why don't you take it out to your weddings and try it?
What happened to it?
So, I don't know. First roll he shot.
Let me tell this story.
Ben will tell you the story.
All right. So I was so excited to shoot with film for the first time in like 20 years. So, we have pictures of this whole day experience. I was shooting with film. I was so excited, and I shot a whole roll on the first day. I think it was Portra 400 we were shooting on. And
most expensive. Portra 400, Portra 800.
Anyway.
$18 a roll.
Anyway, I was like, man, this is gonna be so awesome,
amazing.
right?
and none of this is medium format.
No, it's 35 millimeter.
I eventually want to get a medium format camera. But
I want you guys
off,
to shoot medium format. Just wait till you get to medium format.
What's your preference for a medium format body? I was looking at the is it the Pentax?
To be honest with you, I couldn't tell you.
I could send you some names.
Like Pentax has amazing ones. Mamiya was my go-to. Mamiya was my go-to. That when it came to if you have the money for it, if you want to go like Hassie, that's a different.
Yeah, that's a little pricey.
Can I finish my story? Can I finish my story?
Yes. Let's go back to your story.
Can I finish my story?
We will not leave without telling the story.
All right. So I shot the whole day, and I was so excited. So I packaged the film and I sent it off to the lab, and I was like, yeah, all right, we're gonna. I can't wait to see this thing. And about 3 days later, I get an email. I get an email, Mr. Lau.
We're gonna do this. 2 bottles of tequila.
So I was like, I got an email, Mr. Lau. We regret to inform you that every frame that you have that you delivered, it was just blank.
Wait, so when I was like, was it blank like black or was it blank like white? Like
We have nothing on these exposures. There's just nothing.
No photo was taken. He never rewind.
So he never like
No, I was rewinding and it clicked and I did everything I was supposed to do.
in his head, but yep.
Anyway, like the camera worked anyway, they're like, we have 0 pictures on the whole roll of film. I was like,
So you pretty much sent in a new roll to the lab.
so like, all right, we understand, like we're gonna give you credit, so next roll's on us.
and then so he took.
here is the thing, and I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. So the reason I no longer want to shoot film was because I actually developed my own rolls. And I actually kind of have like the chemical burns to show the fact for it.
Oh my God.
And that's why when people are like, "Oh, why don't you shoot film?" I'm like, "No, I'm okay. I'm good." Like I grab my scars. I'm good.
Yeah.
When it comes to it, and digital it is my moving forward.
Yeah.
To it. But please continue how you want to get a free.
All right.
roll.
So that was my first roll of film, right? So then the second time I brought my camera out, I was like, babe, I think the camera is stuck. The advance is not working, right? Is there supposed to be like tension on this? He's like, yeah, there's supposed to be tension on that.
Not the second time.
That-
was the third time you broke it.
Well, anyway, so the most recent time that I used it, I was like, babe, the advance is kind of like stuck. Is it?
Sure, blame on me.
The
So I
advance
just
is
5
kinda
minutes later,
stuck.
The
Still
advance is stuck. The
story.
film advance is kind of stuck. So I was like, all right. And then
He broke my
it was loose, right? So now it's in repair. The camera is currently in repair.
So none of you.
So he's never.
I haven't developed a role yet, guys. I've been shooting film for 3 months. I haven't developed a role yet.
So none of you guys have ever shot like a rangefinder camera.
No.
We have G2.
My G2
I would love to purchase a Leica M6.
too expensive.
Yeah.
My
Like-
G2 is a rangefinder,
I have a G2 also.
Yeah.
which I bought for you. So we have 2 G2s.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've
So-
developed-
We're
I haven't
not there
developed
yet.
that
I'm
yet.
not there yet. I eventually want to get to that.
Yeah.
But for a wedding day, I feel like it's a little bit more harder to.
Oh, absolutely,
Oh,
absolutely.
to
Ah,
That was not me.
That was
did,
me.
no,
That was
did
me.
you see that though?
That was me.
Did you see
Good
what
catch.
they're designed for? Yes.
We need a napkin. Do we need a napkin?
Oh, it like
No,
it
you're okay.
rolled and stood up.
You're okay. We're knocking stuff down now.
It wasn't me.
It was this. It
wasn't
was
me.
this.
So cool. I mean, we talked about film. Let's.
The mistakes that digital photographers make when they go film.
So I have yet to develop my first roll of film yet. I've been shooting film for about 3 months now. I haven't
and-
developed any film
and
yet.
all our film in the refrigerator is gone because of Ben Lau.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
But nobody knows anything because I didn't charge them anything for it. I just showed up with the film camera and I was like,
Well, you showed up and you told them, "Ooh, look what I have."
So
blank roll.
So we have Daniel Aguilar has shot film quite a bit. Marco Valdez actually shoots a ton of film. He shoots a lot of medium format.
That's awesome.
Film, which medium format it's a complete it's a blast and it's beautiful when it comes to it. Corey Potter just got on and said,
"Oh, get out, Corey!"
Corey said, he said,
Okay.
I left for a while. He said, I left for a while and just got back. And
You're
you
still
guys
talking.
are much more entertaining now.
Corey.
And Marcos came back and says, like, not one, ni una más, which is not one more.
Not one more what?
No more.
But you're cut off.
No more
That's it,
tequila?
You're done.
No, I'm good. I can
So-
do more. I can do
Oh
more.
my goodness! No.
The glasses
So-
came off, everything.
So I'm very happy to announce we have finished one bottle and we are more than 3/4 of a way on this one. Now, again, the gentlemen have done absolutely fantastic.
Good job, man.
And
So proud of
Karis,
you.
you are doing fantastic as well.
So proud of you.
Usually,
Karis.
Karis
So-
outdrinks me.
She's
proud of
doing
you guys.
she's doing good.
Thank you for
So-
carrying the team. I love you guys.
Moses just put knocking over the glass. Karis is your signature move.
Oh, those are fighting words.
It's true.
Do you want to die?
Hey, Moses, just so you know, we do have some images that we can share.
Oh,
All right, let's get
We'll have to explain ourselves later.
let's get back on track now. Let's get a little bit back on track on that. But once again, thank you guys so much for being here. Cheers.
Cheers to my
Is it
second
seven?
glass.
It's been a pleasure.
Seven?
Yeah.
7.
So,
10th for me.
Yeah.
This is your third.
1.5.
Daniel Aguilar earlier, he said, he goes, dude, you should give him some snacks.
That's what I'm feeling.
Give him some bread.
I was like, we went out to eat earlier. I figured if we fed them earlier, it would be better. But you're
That food's
absolutely
already
right,
gone
Daniel.
now. It's 9 o'clock.
Yes.
I have a confession
Yes.
to make. So like, it was a little embarrassing.
Here we go.
It was a little embarrassing.
Oh, no.
So like when we first started our career, Danny Aguilar just discovered that he was my hero, my photography hero, when I first started shooting. Like, there was a poll, like, or some kind of questionnaire, like, who's the first photographer that inspired you, right? And I put Danny Aguilar, and he liked the comment. I was like, oh shit, he knows now, right? and the thing is, my only regret is that the first experience that he had with me was me getting paddled at the German.
No,
brewery.
that wasn't your first. We met Danny at Victor's.
But even that, it was that same day that he's the first time he ever saw me. One of his super fans was getting paddled in the ass at a German beer garden.
I'm sure he loved it.
I'm sure he did.
Yes.
So here's one of the things about that I personally will say this: that Aguilar is one of the most underrated photographers in our industry. He has been at the forefront of pushing the industry in the right direction. Him and Citlali Rico have been absolutely amazing in pushing our industry in the right direction. They're absolutely extremely positive people. So if anything, please, if you guys see anything from Daniel Aguilar, Citlali Rico, support these photographers. They're extremely, extremely amazing photographers when it comes to pushing the industry in the right direction. Extremely positive and just the aura and everything that they have is just an amazing type.
They're just
of
not
stuff.
amazing photographers, but
And
they're
they
amazing
are.
human beings.
Absolutely,
Such
absolutely.
genuine people when we met them.
Yeah.
They were our stars, and then we saw them at WPPI. We're like, oh my gosh, they're like people like us.
yeah, and I think that's the greatest part of it. When the fact that when you see these photographers that you admire so much and that you can relate to them and that they are part of the industry that you are part of, it just makes it that much better.
Yes.
So again, Daniel, hermano, te quiero un chingo, cabrón. O sea, bien sabes, güey, que somos, we are brothers. We're
Big shout out to
everything.
you.
So big shout out to Daniel Aguilar, and everybody. If you don't remember, if you want to go, if you
Big
want to,
hearts.
if you
Are we
want to
on the
go
camera?
back and here we go.
Camera?
Are
There you
we
go.
at the camera? Yep.
There you go. Like the Wet Rockers and everything, Fer Juaristi, Daniel Aguilar, Rafa, David Josue. You guys have been absolutely, amazing for our industry, and thank you guys so much for, still being part of it. So.
Okay, babe.
He just became, good on New Rican. Fantastic, guys. So we are moving on to our next one. We have really basically talked about everything that's going on.
Are you okay, Rolando?
I'm keeping up too.
I've never seen Ro drunk.
I'm fine.
We might not see it tonight either.
I don't
Yeah.
think so. Yep.
So, we've talked about the the state of the industry of everything that we've been going on. I'm looking at my notes here and I'm cheating. When it-
He's drunk.
These
He's drunk.
New
He's
Jersey
drunk.
when it comes
like
when it comes
alcoholics.
to only you drunkaholics, you.
We probably needed a third.
Ollie, yeah, we should have.
We'll drink all the leftovers.
So now we're gonna get into
You underestimated.
we're gonna get into the harder questions when it comes when you guys got it, and we got a little bit, which is a great segue from what we were talking about. When you got into the industry, who were the people that you look up to? What were the your idols, your heroes, the people that are like, hey, these are the people that I look up to. These are the people that I want to go.
Man. Yeah. You know what? So, I'm not trying to put him on a pedestal like we have already, but Daniel Aguilar was one of the people that I found.
when we started.
started.
Yeah,
Same thing.
and I told him that in Vegas, and he was so humble.
Yep.
Susan Stripling,
Yeah.
as
Which
well.
is an absolute icon when it comes
Yeah.
to our industry
Yeah.
of everything we've done. There are very few people that we can say, hey, these are people that kind of set the bar
Oh, yeah.
or actually separated us. Like, let's be honest, guys. 20 years ago, when you went into the photography industry, when you talked about wedding photographers, we're the bottom of the barrel. Okay, we were the ones that were like, ugh, yeah. Including me, going from fashion to talking and everything else. Wedding photographers were the bottom of the barrel. They're like, oh, you're the ones that are doing this, And there's very photographers that we have to kind of give the credit where credit's due.
Correct.
Whether we like it or not, we have like Yervant, who did amazingly for the wedding photography.
Who's this?
Yeah, Yervant.
Oh, Yvonne. Yes,
Yvonne,
yes.
Jerry Jonas, who did amazing for the wedding industry, stuff like that. Roberto Valenzuela, people who have done stuff
They paved the
for
way for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
For what was currently kind of going on right now. So that is the one thing. Whether you like these individuals or whether you don't, it doesn't matter. But you have to give credit where credit is due when it comes to this. A very small short book. That's something that I always kind of say. It's a book called Steal Like an Artist.
Yeah.
Okay, if you have not read this book, it's
Steal Like
one
an
of the greatest books that you will ever read. Very short read, very very short read, but it will kind of give you an idea of what it is to be inspired by other people and give it homage to that inspiration of how you're supposed to be doing it. But again, it's one of those things where we can't forget, a very true saying is like, you stand on the shoulder of giants when it comes to that. So we can't forget where our industry has come, where we're able to kind of keep going on that, and moving forward when it comes to it. So speaking on that, what is your take on that?
It's a lot to unpack.
that was a lot.
It's a lot
What
to
was it
unpack.
again?
Yeah. I'm gonna go back to the
What was the
people that
question?
inspired me, right?
I don't know.
You guys remember the question?
Jen knows the question. Jen's the least drunk out of all of us.
Can you tell Ben?
So basically, the question is
Can you elaborate one more time?
Yes.
For Ben?
I would like
Stop
so
being
the,
on your
so
phone.
the question is we have to understand and we have to give credit to the people
Of
that
course,
were
yes.
there before us.
Yes.
And
That
so
was the question.
that is the question. I was like, who inspired you? What were the people
Yeah.
and how do you move forward from when you took quote unquote the torch, from those individuals to move it forward?
All right, so you said that.
Yeah.
Anyone
So
else?
I still have some people, and some of these
His list
people
is this long.
I was never close with, right? It's just people that I admired. one of these people is a husband and wife team, Hopper Photography from Pennsylvania. We actually hired them to shoot our vow renewal because when we started, their work was very inspirational to us. What the direction that they were going was where we wanted our business to go. Another individual who passed away is Sam Hassas from San Jose, California.
Yeah.
He was someone whose work we came across during the Fred Miranda Forum days. We found him when we were amateurs. We were just starting out, and his work was incredible. When we went to California, we hired him to do a photo shoot of us. And just that photo shoot, besides the photos that that are precious to us, the amount of information that he gave us about the industry was priceless. There's so many people, Fur, whose work is like mind blowing. Sam Hurd has been huge for us in our industry, in our area. I feel like, to be honest with you, all these people that I looked up to, the last couple years, I kind of just stayed away from looking at their work. I wanted to create my own style and vision. And when you follow all these people, it tends to cloud the direction that you want to go in with your work. But all these people have been pivotal to where we are and where the industry has gone because of their vision, which is amazing. You know, we have to tip our hats off to these people because our industry wouldn't be where it is without them.
Yeah.
Who were your inspirations when we started?
Me, first one is Fur.
No. When we first started.
I didn't have one.
Belao.
Because I know Fur was later on in our career.
Yeah, but that was me. Like, I followed Fur before you did.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, so.
But Karis,
me,
you know,
I was before.
she didn't really get into. She didn't really.
Like,
her passion didn't develop until
didn't really have
2014. 4 years
passion
later.
of shooting.
4 years later, I was like, oh, she could actually do this, right? Like 4 years after we had gotten full time, right?
Because I was really like, is this really my lead job? Because your name was on it, you were the lead, and I was just there to tag along.
That
and
is
just
the
be there.
struggle. That is the struggle when you have husband and wife teams where it's just the husband's name or the wife's name on the logo. You know, there are a lot of husband and wife teams, but it's only usually one partner on the logo, right?
Right.
So that's
The passion was definitely not there in the beginning. Yep, I was just there, with the warm body, with the camera. I'll just get some angles, second angles. There was
But
no
2014, I remember it. I
inspiration.
remember the exact wedding, right?
I don't even remember.
I remember. It was a Christmas wedding, and it was it was at a small little restaurant in New Brunswick, and I was like, where did this come from, right? And that's when you really got into it. So I was like, that's awesome.
But it's like any artist or photographer or just generally artists themselves. I think once that inspiration or your muse or your idea clicks, that you never forget that moment, right? So I think that's
Around 2014, that's when it
when
happened
that
for you.
happened, I guess.
So when I first started, I only had maybe 2 or 3 inspiration, like people that really took my breath away when I saw their images, right? One of them was Danny Aguilar. The other one was Bobby Sheridan. Do you know who that
Oh,
is?
Absolutely,
Ben
yeah.
loved Bobby.
Bobby
and Mike.
Sheridan. Oh, I was like, this stuff is breathtaking. I'm like, this is so simple, but it's so beautiful.
Whimsical. Yep.
Why is that so funny?
This is funny. This is so simple.
But it's so simple, but it's so beautiful, right? So it's Bobby Sheridan, and then also Jonas Peterson. Why is that
That's
funny?
it. You're
way you
cut
said
off. You're cut off from this.
Bring the
I'm
bottle.
good.
Bring the bottle and cup away.
Guys, I'm only at 60%. I can
Oh
take
my
more.
goodness.
And then last but not least, Jonas Peterson.
Yes.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, Jonas.
Yeah.
So
Which
those-
with Jonas is actually in Austin now.
Oh.
Which
Is he really?
Yeah, which is actually
All right,
two.
rock and roll.
Yeah, two
Yeah.
to us.
Oh, that's
So,
right. He ended up buying like
so
a,
those 3 really shaped how I kind of like viewed. I was like, oh my god, it's so fucking simple. Like, how can I not see it? Like, because what they're working with, like, I can dissect it. I was like, why didn't I think of that? Right? It's so simple. So so those 3 really shaped the way how I kind of approached photography and wedding photography. I was like, those 3 were at least my biggest inspirations when I was first starting out.
But to answer the other half of your question, you said
passing the torch on.
passing the torch
Yeah.
on. I think it's our responsibility after you've been in the game for so long to look behind you and give as much guidance and
Exactly.
info that you can. which is why Ben started education. That's why we started the podcast. We
Yep.
would just hang out on a regular basis and just talk, mostly work with a little bit of like personal stuff. And then we're like, why don't we just take our conversations that
And
have
put a mic on it.
put a mic on it? These conversations that have helped, we've helped each other in our businesses.
Let others.
Let's just pass it on.
Because here's the thing, right? When we first started, there was a lot of gatekeeping with the knowledge, right? I remember when I first started, I would beg all these
as
veterans.
an industry, or like
I would beg all these veterans, hey, let me just
Yeah,
second
can I
shoot for
second
you,
shoot for
let
you?
me
Yeah.
third shoot for you. Like, I just want to
No one.
I just want to work. I want to get into this industry. And like, we would get the door slammed on our face left and right.
Yeah.
And if there's one way that this industry has improved over the years is that, you know, a lot of the veterans like ourselves, if you want to call ourselves veterans, that we're a lot more generous with our information. We're a lot more generous with shaping the next generation of photographers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh, absolutely, and I completely agree. So I don't know, and I don't know if I've ever shared this with the community. But I became a wedding photographer. I became a wedding photographer because actually a wedding photographer lied to us. Yeah. So we didn't do our research. The wedding photographer was basically one of our the weddings. You know, our wedding was very early on in her career. It was completely different than what she showed, and I realized that when me being a photographer and knowing my way around a camera, and we do our engagement sessions, and we go for our photo session, and we're like, oh no, they're shooting in P.
They're showing what?
They're shooting in P.
Oh, that's professional.
That's
mode.
professional.
yeah.
So and then later on, she invited me to second shoot for her, and basically all the images that
shot.
I shot
She
were the
was
ones
using
that
them.
she
delivered.
shot.
That's the
Were
common
delivered.
thing. Yeah.
But thankfully, it was what it was. I decided to do better and become a wedding photographer, and my career started. When it comes to it. So, I'm sure I'm not the only one, and many of us have kind of started that way. But again, the one thing is like our job is to shape the next, just like the people that we admired has shaped, ours when it comes to
Definitely. I think
to
as
this situation.
not looking at us as, our brand, just us, our work, but as a wedding photography
Community.
industry need to grow together as a whole for, all of us to be successful. That's what I like. That's what our one thing that I remember from college. One of our professor told us, you guys are not competing with each other, but you guys are colleagues, and you guys need to all grow together.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I like to quote the very venerable Ryan Bernizer, right?
You love them too. in the
I loved him
beginning.
too.
Yep.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. So I don't know if he's watching this or not, but
Why not?
it's probably not, right? But shout out to you if you are watching, right? So, Ryan, one of the things
Ryan.
I've never met him in person. Have you met him in person? Have you met him
I
in
still
person?
have right now. Yeah.
Right.
Maybe once. Yeah.
Did you?
Because he's in New York, isn't he?
He's in New
Yeah.
York. We
He's
should
in Jersey
we should
now,
have
too.
met him. He's in New Jersey.
Yeah.
With Tatiana, right? So but in any case, Ryan, if you're watching, what did he say? He said that there are no secrets. Why is this so funny?
Just say it.
Where is this story going? Please.
The story is, he's like, listen, why gatekeep all this information? Because the thing is, if you have a secret sauce that makes you successful, right?
I feel like that was not his quote.
Well, I'm paraphrasing.
This is
Ben's quote.
I'm paraphrasing, right?
Ben Bernizer.
So anyway, he's like, listen, if you have a secret sauce that makes your business successful, right? It's not going to be a secret forever. Because the thing is, in this day and age, there's going to be very few things in this business that's going to be a secret forever.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So you might as well just share it, and just because the thing is, the secret sauce is going to be you, the photographer. You're the individual. Why is that funny? funny.
It's me.
You're the secret sauce.
You are the secret
I am the
sauce,
secret
right?
sauce.
But if you have like a secret method, like that's why it's like Bernizer method. Yeah, go ahead, fucking take it. Just go run with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's no secret sauce that you should keep secret. The secret sauce is you. Why is that funny?
Okay, we get it.
we
You
get
done?
it.
Yeah, we got it.
All right, I'm done with you guys.
So with that, we're gonna move on
Next episode.
to our next segment
Next topic.
of that. So with everything we've kind of talked about today, I was like, what do you think the role of photography is in our current society?
The role?
The role of photography is within our current society.
These are such a deep questions.
Why are you saving these questions till later on?
Yeah. So
Because this is when we actually, you guys are going
use your
to
brain. Use your brain.
When you're
Come on.
drunk, the
So-
real
Absolutely.
deep conversations come out.
I'm gonna answer that with the industry that we're in, right? Weddings. Our role is to document the couple's day, right? And capture the memories. So we can't be selfish. We can't go in there and we can't go into a wedding day with like I'm gonna run the day. I'm gonna do what I can to get my portfolio images. It's not about you. It's about this couple. And our role is to serve them in any capacity that we can. He's got the chat.
That's not your job.
Yeah, that's not your job. That's not your role. It's to serve our clients and preserve their memories and tell their story for whatever event they hire us for.
Which is great. Now I want to push you a little bit further.
Dig deeper.
So photography as a whole,
Not just weddings.
outside of weddings.
Weddings, yep.
What do you think the role of with the current situation of things happening around the world? And please feel free to answer as much as you want. I don't want to put you in stuff. What do you think the role of photography is? For example, we've all heard of the Bang Bang Club, and the
What's
stuff.
that? What's Bang Bang Club? I heard. I mean, he's like, we've all heard of the Bang Bang Club. I have not heard of the Bang Bang
I
Club.
don't think I have either.
He's only heard of Bang Bang Shrimp.
If you have not heard of the Bang Bang Club, please, there's documentaries. There's actually a film called The Bang Bang Club about, PJ photographers who talk, about the war in Uganda, if I'm not mistaken, and stuff like that, and things that were happening, around that time.
Yeah.
So just research it. But my question is, with everything that's kind of going on around the world and everything, what do you think the role of photography or us as photographers is
Yeah.
to basically the world or humanity wise?
I think it's definitely preserving history and impactful moments in time that cannot be like preserving the facts, if that makes sense. So like one of the greatest that just came out, the Nat Geo documentary called Photographer.
Yep.
As wedding
that was
photographers,
amazing.
we are
Yeah.
kind of tunnel visioned into like, wedding photography. But like watching that documentary and seeing all the segments of photography and how it impacts different type of industries, like the whaling industry, the photographer that was out in was it the Ukraine, and like just seeing like the impact of what photography can do to the world. I think it goes beyond just shooting weddings and like
Beyond.
all these little.
It's beyond
events.
just the pretty things.
Just beyond the pretty things. It was just definitely photographing impactful things in history.
I think it goes to add on to what you're saying is our role is to tell the truth, right? And with AI in the world right now, those truths can be
Distorted.
Manipulated.
distorted,
Manipulated. Yep.
And
1000%.
as photographers, whatever industry we're in, our role is to tell the truth.
Absolutely, and I think that's one of the things since the inception of photography, that's one of the things that has never been able to lie is when it becomes to an image.
Yep.
like you were talking about the from Nat Geo, which is Jimmy Chen, I believe.
Yep. Yep.
Jimmy Choo.
Jimmy
Chen.
Chen.
yeah.
Chen.
Jimmy Chen.
That guy's
People
amazing.
Who
He's
yeah,
amazing.
absolutely.
Huge fan.
He's
He has
amazing.
he has done some of the
Huge
best
fan.
stuff when it comes to big walling, to rock climbing, to some of the biggest summits in the world.
That he's been involved with.
But with this new documentary that he did, he showed different aspects of the photography. Not just what we usually know him for, which is this adventure, and climbing and all of this other stuff. But like you were saying, stuff from Ukraine, something a very touchy subject that is currently going on right now, which is like Gaza, and stuff like that. That we don't see much imagery. We don't see much of the stuff that's kind of going on there, stuff like that. I think as photographers, it is our duty to be able to document that stuff, as much as it is repressed and as much as it is. But our job is to be able to document what is currently happening
As faithfully as possible.
as faithfully as possible. You're absolutely correct. So what is your take, again, outside of your current industry, which is weddings, of photography in general?
So deep. Why don't you start off with these questions?
I don't think as like me, I would love to like go and do
Oh
like
my God, yeah,
cover
documentary work, be able to,
even exotic like other natures too. I'm a huge climate change person, environmentalist. When I do retire and my kids are older enough, I do eventually want to go into like doing stuff.
She's gonna be chaining herself to a tree.
Stop it. But as photographer, I would love to like.
I feel like
if I do get a opportunity.
Going back to the passion project thing, like I would love to just do like spend a week somewhere,
volunteer
documenting,
my
getting
time.
actual stories. Like weddings again is the beautiful stuff. There are sometimes great moments and things at weddings, but
It's luxury.
actually photographing and documenting real life and things that happen, I think is so much more impactful.
Animal shelters. Like I'm a huge animal, saving all animal lives, elephants to dolphins to turtles, sea turtles, because of temperatures changing. I would love to do that stuff. So reach out.
You could borrow Ben's cage for his Z8. Go down underwater.
I will get an underwater body.
It's not waterproof.
No, but yeah,
But yeah,
photography is, I feel like, one of the most important industries that exists right now. Because like you said, you have something to look back on for years and say
50
like,
years from now, 100 years from now, this is all we
what
have.
happened,
This is
yeah.
all we have.
let's say like seriously, like the Earth may not even exist, and
No, the Earth would be fine.
no, but even humans, you don't know the
Guys,
future.
you're going way too deep now.
We've gotten to that point now.
Yeah,
Oh, my
there
Earth.
are animals going extinct. Okay, white rhino, last white rhino died.
How many are you in? Are you 3 or 4?
I'm not drunk. I'm talking about my deep passion here.
Jesus Louise.
But it is.
Do we
it
have any
is-
comments that we need to answer? To?
So right now, everything we have is Marco Dolores says we love dining in Citla, which is the last one.
Okay.
Eric Kessler said I became a wedding photographer because I was lied and the attitude was terrible. And then Corey said over here, querying about the Big Bang, like the Bang Bang Club on Prime. So, hey.
Oh, it's on Prime?
I,
We can watch it on
so
Prime?
I'm telling you right now, hey, Prime, I need some credit
We're
for
all
that.
gonna go watch
I need
Bang
some.
Bang.
So Bang Bang Club, honestly, it is.
Are we killing it? Sweet.
Shannon over here taking a sip of tequila every time the microphone goes back and forth. So keep going back and forth right over
I have a
here.
drinking game with you going back and forth. To the mic.
So
We're done.
and- no,
We killed 2 bottles, y'all.
yes, and I am 2 ahead of you guys.
Damn.
Wait, are you really?
Yes.
Heck is possible.
We're about
drink
10
yours,
ahead
babe.
of me, so it's fine.
Am
So
I drinking yours, babe?
No, this is mine.
All right.
All right.
What's your
2
problem?
bottles.
Are we drinking Esteban's then?
Esteban, you being called out. We're gonna bring yours, and we're gonna finish your bottle right over here. So So
No, not bad.
with that
I
said,
can do at least 2 or 3 more.
absolutely.
No way.
No.
With everything that we've commented on, we've talked about the state of industry. Obviously, how photography and how we can do better and document outside of our of what you guys are doing. With this stuff. Do you guys? I'm gonna turn it over to our chat quote listeners. If you guys have any questions, please let us know. Put them on here, and I will directly ask some of these questions. As for now, one thing that I want to know is with this. Has photography changed, or your love for the art, has it changed over the years? Has it gotten better? Have you lost the love for it? I mean, what is your current situation with this?
Molinas, you want to go?
Yeah,
get this
I'll
first?
start.
Yeah, let's go.
I think I'm in that cycle where I find my love and then I lose my love and then I find my love again. I think if you stay complacent, you're not gonna find you're not gonna find your love. I try to do as much as I can to be uncomfortable, find different ways to ignite that love again. And sometimes it's hard. It's hard because you go into cruise control.
Right.
You go into cruise control, and you kind of and if you're working at the same venues all the time, your clients expect the same things that they see from your portfolio, and it's very hard to break out of that sometimes. So I feel like finding different ways to ignite that passion again is crucial. Sometimes I can't find it, and well, that's why we have all these workshops and conferences and podcasts, right? To see what other people are doing to find their way again. But it's that relationship, that on and off relationship, and I'm extremely grateful to what this industry has given us, and I believe in karma. I believe in karma, so. This industry has given me and Jen everything, and we're willing to give the industry everything as well, and to return the favor. So it's hard at times, but I feel like the longer we do this, our job is to keep finding new ways of moving forward. If that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Get your therapy.
That was actually kind of soothing. That was
It's very
very deep. Very deep.
Thank
and
you for
soothing.
sharing that with
Awesome.
Thank
us.
you.
All right.
Thank you.
I'm glad I got my point across.
Thank you. So,
I don't remember the question.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Okay.
What was the question?
What are you doing? Like the love and hate relationship.
yeah, with
the-
with photography, with your work.
Do you love it? Do you hate it?
I feel like I'm very lucky that I still get to enjoy about 99% of the work that I get to do. You know, what? Why is that funny?
Obviously, the loud are the last one standing.
So here is the thing, and this is one of the reasons why I absolutely love GTS, because this is towards the end of it. It's where the true
Wait, I
self
thought we
kinda
had at
comes
least
out.
another bottle coming out.
Not for you.
and the aspect of what we're currently doing.
I could do more.
We're currently doing.
Yeah, you can take mine.
But what it is the fact that you have the Molinas, you have the Laos that are here sharing, their not only their passion, their business and everything that has taken them years, to do, in a couple of hours, which we're about to hit. Oh, we just passed 3 hours.
Oh my God.
On this.
Are we gonna?
So thank you guys so much for sticking with us for this long. But the biggest thing with this is the fact that we, that they've shared what they've done. And as you guys know, we don't edit any of the stuff. You can go back to any single one of our episodes that are completely unedited with this. But the fact of the reason I wanted to start GTS is because I wanted to show what the true self of the individuals that either you look up to or you have,
With tequila.
work with and talk to are with. They're no different than what you or I are doing. So again,
Yes.
if you have absolutely any questions, please let them know. We're towards the end of our show. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe. Leave your questions, on the comments, and we'll ask as much as we can. But thank you guys so much. As of now, one last thing that I want to ask you guys is, one, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having
Thank you
us.
for having us.
Pleasure.
So much
And-
fun.
Yeah, it was our pleasure.
We need
And-
3 bottles next time.
Yes, we will absolutely do 3 bottles the next time. And actually, the next time I'm going up to Focus AF, and we
Yes.
are
Let's do
doing
it.
it
Yes.
in New Jersey.
Let's do it,
I will
man.
give you guys
We'll make
that,
you the
that
margaritas with the
much.
cheapest tequila that you buy.
And I will-
Actually, they're not margaritas. They're bangaritas.
yes.
Bangaritas.
So, but the one thing that I want to say thank you, for being here. Do you guys? Let me check to see if you have. It says Andres Molina says answer the question, Ben. Andres, please reiterate the question because I don't know what the question is. Now, Corey Potter said, "What is your personal relationship with photos of you and the ones you love?"
Ooh.
What's the question?
It's a
What
3-part
is-
question. What
so good, Corey.
what is your personal relationship with photos of you and the ones you love? That's part 1.
Personal relationship? I like, you don't believe it or not, some of our favorite photos of me and my wife and my family were taken with our phone. And those are the pictures that we print and we put around the house.
And why?
Why? Because I think we're most comfortable taking photos.
Yeah, these are most natural. This is us in our natural element. Like we've been photographed as a
Yeah.
family with
Absolutely,
by
okay.
professional photographers.
Professionals,
But the ones that we put around the house, I mean, we have some of those professional photos around the house too. But like the ones that mean the most to us is like when we're going on a family hike, when we're on our family vacations. It's just the 4 of us.
Just like a selfie.
It's just a
Yeah,
selfie or something.
famous.
It's like
We can be
it's not
ourselves.
from a compositional standpoint, from a lighting standpoint. It's a very normal photo. Granted, it's taken by professional photographers, but like it's still a very meaningful photo for us.
It's just our faces. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
same
it's-
for us.
Yeah.
It's just mostly selfies because it's
We're-
2
we're
of us.
ourselves.
But
I just realized now that I'm slurring, so I'm good for now.
Okay.
Slurring, so I'm good.
So
You are cut off.
the second part to that question is, how do you interact with those photos?
So we don't practice what we preach.
You guys don't print anything?
We do.
We have a few things hung up in the
Yeah, we
house.
do.
We print. We print.
But and I used to print like a lot of my cell phone pictures and have them like in boxes, but I haven't done it in a few years because I'm like I will have so many boxes in 20, 30 years of, so I have to figure out a way to organize them better, which is terrible.
I have a story. I have a story to share. Right. So
Is it the cobbler shoe story?
Again.
I'm not sure. But
What story is that?
I'm not sure.
Kids
so,
have the cobblers.
So
kids have no shoes.
so
It is a story, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure where this is gonna go. But
Another hour is going to go by.
Oh my god.
We've got 35 seconds. Come on. Let's go, Ben.
Almost 10 o'clock.
is it 10 o'clock?
No, not yet.
Can you read your watch?
Yeah, you.
It's a little. It's about the 10:30.
I don't have a smartwatch.
Very nice watch, you know what I mean?
Very
I was
nice
like,
watch.
yeah.
So what was the question? We were.
How do you
You
interact?
answered. You
Oh,
answered. You
okay.
answered.
Okay, no, I didn't. So, the photos, I would say about 2 years ago, we almost lost all of our photos on our hard drive.
Well, you did.
Right, like
Not
all,
we, you.
all the photos on our personal hard drives, we lost them all. Okay, and you would think as professional photographers we would take what?
We've heard this story so many times.
Well, you guys have heard
say it
it.
the same exact way.
It's all right. You're speaking to
I'm
Corey.
speaking to a new audience.
You're speaking to Corey.
I'm speaking to a new audience, guys. So like,
Just get to the moral of the story.
all right. Anyway, too long didn't read. I lost all the photos. Why is it fun? This is a very
Right.
serious.
And those
And-
photos were the only source.
Yes. So, why are you crying? You only get 3 in. I'm on like 7 in at this point. So anyway, I've taken I've taken great pains to make albums of all these photos. Why are you? Why
That's what we wanted you to get to.
I
There we
made
go.
albums. I made albums of Prince of Everything, y'all. All right, that's what I did.
All right. So, how did you recover these images?
After great expense, I recovered the images, but that was beside the point. I made prints of everything. I made prints and albums of everything. 20 years that we've shared a life together, family, vacations, graduations, sporting events, vacations, everything. We made prints and albums out of everything. Okay, so what was the question?
That was the question. You answered
Were
it.
That was the
you
question.
were you a member
So-
of PPA during that time?
I've been a PPA for as long as
They
I've been
would
a
have
wedding photographer.
covered
So
the cost of the hard drive recovery.
so with
Did I answer the question?
Yes. you
yes,
did, you did.
yes. So
Yes,
Ben answered the question when it comes to this. When it comes to the guys, if you have any questions,
No
also,
more
we're about to we're about to wrap this things up. Thank you guys so much for
In your face, Fernando.
for coming.
What are the comments?
Again, if you have not subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel. There's great things that are coming up. And again, we're here for you guys with everything that needs to be said. Moses said, Moses said, he goes, you look defeated. After Ben's story, I don't know where to go from this. I don't know how I can
Defeated.
recover.
Moses knows that feeling all too well.
Daniel, however, Daniel, my boy, Daniel Aguilar says, ya llegué con el mariachi. He goes, I'm here with the mariachi. That's my boy. That's it.
What did he
That means you gotta go.
Andres Molina says, drunk growth speaks wisdom when it comes to it. But it comes to, but for now, what I want to say is thank you guys so much for sticking with us for this. You have been
fun.
absolutely amazing. Guys, thank you so much for being here.
Thank
This
you
has
for
been
having us.
absolutely
Thank you for inviting
amazing.
us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
We have fun.
it has been an awesome
We
experience.
love
Yeah,
it. We love being here.
and I want to definitely give a shout that we killed two bottles
There we go.
of Mi
Oh,
Genta.
man.
Mi Genta, thank you so much. You don't sponsor this at this, but you are absolutely, an amazing tequila, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it.
It was delicious.
And on our
Cheers.
cheers to
Yeah,
this.
I have nothing left.
Cheers with
We
an
have
empty
got
glass.
The last ones.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Shout out to Gikoto.
Cheers to good
Thank you
Kodo.
for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for being here with everything. If there are no more questions, I want to say one of the things that I want to say is, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys for listening. And hopefully you took some of the ways and some of the things that were said here by heart. This show is for nothing else but then to speak the truth of what our current industry is, something that we generally enjoy. From one aspect of Gikoto as company, when it comes to it, that we want to make sure that we benefit, current working photographers and the stuff in the industry. Mm-hmm. Secondly, the people that we see, which is right here. which is current working photographers and everything that is going on with this. That's all I can say when it comes to this. But
Am I on camera?
yes.
I'm not on camera.
No, not currently. You're not on camera. You're not on camera. We're dropping some glasses.
Ben, do you have anything to say to us in Spanish?
No.
In
nothing-
Spanish?
No, nothing in Spanish.
no,
It's fine. It's fine.
Go ahead,
So,
Ben.
nothing else about watches. We're good. Again, thank you guys so much for being here.
Man, thank you
That's
for
a wrap.
inviting us.
That's
man.
that's a wrap.
You
That's
have
a
been
wrap.
amazing in showing your hospitality. And
Thank you for hosting
it's been
us.
a nice experience for all of us.
This was fun.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely. And again, please, if you have not been able to, please go listen to Focus AF. Stay tuned for some more news for Focus AF Summit.
Yes.
Coming up soon with everything that is going on. Go listen to the podcast. It's absolutely amazing. Great information that is going on there about what's everything that's going on within your industry, which is the photography industry, and something that we hopefully are behind with you guys on this. So with that said, that's a wrap for today's episode of Goro GTS. 2 bottles down on that. Don't forget to follow.
bottles.
Yes. Don't forget to follow us on social media, on all of our channels, latest updates and everything that is going to be on there with that stuff. But with that, thank you guys so much. Keep sipping that good tequila on there. And thank you. And with my empty glass,
No, the camera's on him.
cheers when it goes to that. Thank you guys.